4 with the BBC News. I'm Tom Dunn. Police are investigating if a suspect wanted for the fatal shooting of a woman outside a pub in Kent on Friday may have entered the River Thames after the killing. It happened at the Three Horseshoes pub in the Knockholt area on Valentine's Day. The BBC's Ben Schofield is at the scene.
Villagers that I spoke to yesterday recalled hearing those gunshots ringing out at around 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday. Police say that the woman is believed to have known her attacker. They also say that they found a car linked to their murder inquiry on the Dartford crossing. They also found a firearm. But what they haven't found yet is the man that they suspect carried out the attack here.
France has confirmed it will be hosting a meeting of European leaders tomorrow to discuss the situation in Ukraine. It follows Donald Trump's team's suggestion that European countries will not be present at talks with Russia to end the conflict in the country. Officials from the United States and Russia are planning to meet next week. The Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds has warned that both the UK and the US will suffer if President Donald Trump follows through on his threat to put tariffs on steel imports. Washington has said it would be imposing a 25% import tax on both steel and aluminium from all countries. Mr. Reynolds told Sunday with Laura Kuensberg on BBC One that it's in America's interest to give Britain an exemption.
The challenge would be, to be frank, some of the things the US imports, it hasn't got alternative suppliers for. I mean, the submarine casings that come from Sheffield, for instance, to the US Navy. I don't want them paying more needlessly for that. So we can engage, and we've already have been doing that.
What
on
would
a solution
be the impact if he goes
Well,
ahead?
it would be negative for ourselves, but it would be negative for the US as well.
2 people are being treated in hospital after being attacked by the family dog at their house in Merseyside. It happened at an address in Woodchurch in Wirral just before midnight last night. The injuries suffered by the 2 people attacked by the animal are not thought to be life-threatening. Merseyside police have confirmed the dog will be humanely destroyed. And finally, celebrities have begun arriving in London for tonight's BAFTA Awards. Leading this year's nominations is the religious drama Conclave, followed by Emilia Perez and The Brutalist. Caroline Frost is a media journalist at the Radio Times.
It's a very open field. There's no complete front-runner, but I do have everything crossed for Conclave and specifically Ralph Fiennes. He's up against some competition, we should say, with Adrian Brody, I guess, leading those rivals for The Brutalist, and of course the ever-popular Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, where he transformed himself into Bob Dylan.
Read all of these stories over on the BBC News website. That brings you right up to date. It's now 3 minutes past 4.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.
Good afternoon from Andy Rowley here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where 2 teams meet who have to turn their league form around.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.
Yes, a very good afternoon to you from here in North London. Ipswich's point yesterday against Aston Villa means Spurs start 10 points above the relegation places, 2 points behind their opponents, 14th place Manchester United, immediately above them in the standings. A win for either side would take them up to 12th in the table. A draw would leave both stuck exactly where they are. Tottenham versus Manchester United, rarely a battle for 12th place in the table, but such is the league season these two are having. They both find themselves languishing in the bottom half of the table. Spurs were hoping to take solace from the cups, but they were knocked out of 2 of those in the space of 4 days. As in comes the corner. Oh, it's in again! Liverpool have got another. It's Van Dijk who scored the winner in the League Cup final last season. He's got another header there in front of the Kop, which absolutely rubber stamps Liverpool's route to the final. Bailey trying to get the shot away, Gray sticking with him, and Marlon on the overlap. Here it comes to Rodgers, and Rodgers puts it in. And now Tottenham are really staring down the barrel. An 11th goal of the season, and it's Villa 2, Tottenham 0. Well, Manchester United are in a similar situation to Tottenham, so who knows what we've got in store this afternoon. It's going to be pretty chaotic, I would imagine. They're still rolling Tottenham in Europe, of course, but manager Ange Postecoglou says they need to now focus on what they've got left
can't ignore what's happened, and you're still carrying remnants of that. It's not like that's not in our heads, the fact that the disappointment of our league season, the disappointment of going out in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, the disappointment of Sunday are still there. So you still carry that with you. You can't just extinguish that. But is it an opportunity? Yes, for a little bit of a reset.
The League Cup quarter-final, when these sides met here recently, was chaotic. 4-3 it ended, but this should be entertaining as well. So stay with us here on DAB through to 6:30.
BBC Radio London.
The home of London football.
A very good afternoon to you wherever you are joining us from this afternoon for what is always an eagerly awaited fixture in the calendar in the Premier League. Tottenham against Manchester United, and this should be no exception, even with the seasons both these sides are having. Tottenham against Manchester United, the desperation for a win this afternoon should become pretty tangible as we get underway in around 24 minutes time. Well, I can bring you the team news. Tottenham will be delighted to bring back Guglielmo Vicario, their goalkeeper, who is a very popular member of the team, a senior player as well already, even though he's not been with Tottenham that long, and he returns after that bad injury and replaces the youngster Antonin Kinski in the starting 11. A veteran defender in Ben Davis comes back into the starting 11, and that means that Archie Gray drops out of the starting 11 for the first time in what seems a long time. The teenager finally getting a break from starting a match, although I'm sure he would put his hand up to start if it was up to him, but he may well be introduced at some point. And James Maddison also comes back from a less long-term injury. He replaces Mikey Moore in the starting 11, so it's Vicario in goal for Tottenham, Porro, Danso, Davis and Spence the back four, a midfield of Bentancur, Bergvall and Maddison, and then Kulusevski and Tell are either side of the captain Son Heung-min. And there's also some good news on the bench as well for Spurs in the returns of Destiny Udogie, Brennan Johnson and Wilson Odobert, who's hardly featured since arriving at Tottenham. So good news perhaps there on the injury front, which has been desperate for Tottenham this season. As for Manchester United, 4 changes for them from the 2-1 victory against Leicester, which kept them in the FA Cup, defending that trophy they won against City in the final last season. They have brought in Matthias de Ligt in defence for Lenny Yoro. Casemiro gets a rare start now. He comes in for Manuel Ugarte in the midfield. And there's 2 changes up front. Alejandro Garnacho replaces Kobbie Mainoo, and Joshua Zirkzee is in for Amad Diallo. And Manchester United riven with injury and illness, we're hearing. So their bench, Victor Lindelof on there, but apart from that, it is a very callow bench of a lot of youngsters. But as Bradley Allen alongside me has told me, plenty of talent there as well, of players that are coming through the academy, and the recently arrived Aidan Heaven as well from Arsenal. But Tottenham certainly look a little bit more healthy, which is something I don't think we've said for most of the season. Delighted to welcome Bradley Allen alongside me, former Premier League striker, coach as well in the Premier League. And Bradley, what about this? Great game to look forward to. Always one that you'd probably look in the calendar and say, when are you playing Manchester United? But very strange to see the clubs where they are in the table, of course.
Yeah, good afternoon, Andy. Looking forward to the match. I think both these sides, by their own admission in the Premier League, have underwhelmed this season for one reason or another. A change in leadership with Manchester United, with Ten Hag departing because of inconsistency. Amorim now in. He's trying to change the dynamic, the culture of this Manchester United group. I think he'll be given at least the summer transfer window to further strengthen and remove and depart some players within this squad. So that is going to be a work in progress, and hence Manchester United haven't performed very, very well. And who'd have said that, you know, they're nowhere near pushing any of the European spaces, let alone the top 4. Similar for Spurs. Both these sides, of course, are going well and still in the Europa League. But for Tottenham, the one thing that the manager Big Ange has said and consistently echoed is you've got to be a bit fair in terms of judging me when I get some of these players back. You know, some of the injuries have been particularly unfortunate, but he's got obviously Maddison back in the starting lineup, which is important this afternoon. You've got Udogie, you've got Odegaard, you've got Johnson now back on the bench as well. And this week, for the first time in months, Spurs have had the opportunity not only to rest some of their tired players and actually do a little bit of training and a bit more sort of structured preparation for this particular game. I think Spurs will win this afternoon. I'm pretty confident in that. You know, Manchester United defensively, we know, are vulnerable. They were a bit lucky against Leicester in the FA Cup with a disputed offside-headed goal from obviously Harry Maguire. Spurs beat them quite comfortably at Old Trafford earlier on in the season, 2-0, in a game that Kulusevski really starred in, and I think Tottenham will get a result and score goals.
It's really interesting what you say there, because I heard the manager at his press conference saying that honestly some of the guys in the press pack could have been involved in training. It was done at such a slow pace, and you know what some of the guys or girls in the press pack are like. You know, they're probably not anywhere near the fitness levels of Premier League footballers, obviously, but you know, his point was that it's been done pretty much at walking pace at times because they can't risk any injuries. They're playing every 3-4 days, so there's just no point pummeling them anymore. So he was saying that we really haven't had any opportunity apart from walkthroughs to really actually work on anything in training at full speed.
Yeah, it's just about completion of a game and then recovery, and within a matter of days, like you say, go again. And that's happened over probably an 8, 10, if not 12-week period. There's not been many other sides that sort of have had to overcome that, especially with the multiple injuries, beyond 10 injuries that Spurs had to first team starters and first team squad players. So, you know, from that perspective, that's been a mighty challenge, and one that I've really not seen for many a year. But now I think the judgment will be the next 3 league games. I think if they're able to win 2 of the 3, Manchester United, Ipswich and Man City, Spurs won't be looking over their shoulder and be threatened with relegation. I don't think that'll happen, and they will secure some important points. But then the pressure absolutely will definitely be on. They'll know the draw for the Europa League. Those 2 games is going to determine, I think, you know, where the manager will be to the end of the season and beyond, and Spurs' future, because I think the Europa League is the one that they've still got a chance, and if those players can come back, they can hit it quickly, and Spurs go again. It still could be a brilliant finish to this season.
Well, because that's the amazing thing, because obviously a trophy would be incredible, but it also would be a ticket for the Champions League. You know,
absolutely,
you win, which would be astonishing if you think about the season these 2 clubs are having, and you know what people are saying about them.
Well, I think that's why you make a great point. You know, within a week, losing that semi-final second leg at Anfield and going out in the League Cup, a competition that they could have got to a final, and obviously FA Cup and the disappointment of the first half performance up at Villa Park against Aston Villa last Sunday. So Spurs have got home advantage for most games this season. There's been 1 or 2 disappointments. They have been pretty good, Andy. They've took the game to their opponents, and I think if they've got the energy levels, and I believe they will have this afternoon, they can hurt Manchester United.
Obviously Liverpool have won this afternoon 2-1 against Wolves, which means that gap is 7 points again at the top of the table. I mean, we're seeing 2 teams here that are used to challenging more at that end of the table, but really Liverpool are the one team that have shown that kind of consistency this season. You know, we've seen Forest defeated yesterday. Arsenal, you know, they're keeping them honest, but there's still that 7 point gap. And
yeah, I was just having a look, Andy, and the pressure was obviously on Liverpool playing after Arsenal, and Arsenal without a striker getting the result in the 2 goals from Mourinho yesterday, and a big win away at Leicester. Liverpool were good. We watched it in the media suite. They've obviously come through with the victory. I think Arsenal might have to win 10 of their remaining 13 games to go close. So Liverpool can afford 4 or 5 slip-ups and still do it. I think that gap of 7 and the goal difference advantage as well. It would be incredible now if Arsenal are able to turn it around. They've got to be pretty faultless between now and the end of the season. It's not beyond them to do it.
Yeah.
But we're still in Champions League,
and the players out now,
and 1 or 2 key players out with hamstring injury. Liverpool look as if they've got a little bit more depth. and they're going to be able to manage, the 3 competitions that they're still in.
Well, Bradley Allen is alongside me for live commentary of this game between Tottenham and Manchester United here in North London this afternoon in the Premier League. Yesterday, Crystal Palace defeated by in-form Everton at home. After the game, the Palace manager, Oliver Glasner, spoke to our colleagues at the BBC and admitted that he and his coaching staff need to find solutions to break down teams like Brentford and Everton at home.
Yes, it is. The result is disappointing and frustrating today. It's a game I think we should not lose, but we lost it, so makes it even tougher. We had 2-3 good chances in the first half. We didn't take them, and then we gave them a goal straight before halftime. Good reaction afterwards, and then it was let's say a game where everybody's one situation will decide it, and Everton had this situation with a set play and with the second and third phase, and then they scored the goal, and then we couldn't strike back anymore, and it's tough afternoon.
You made the changes at half time, and they clearly did have an impact, didn't they?
Of course, we know when Adam and Barreggi, when they are 100% fit, they can help the team in the performance, but they were not, and they still aren't on their top level. They can't be because they struggle with injuries, but yes, we know that Barreggi is a player who can win 1v1 duels and create overloads. He showed it immediately after halftime. He was a little bit unlucky with his finishes, and Adam is the same. He can solve situations with his passing, that we can accelerate our attacking. What's important against a team that defends so well like Everton, and we had some situations, but it's also my job and then the job from my staff and me to find better solutions against teams that play in this similar way, because we had a very similar game against Brentford and the result is the same, and of course we have to reduce the easy mistakes, because we know it's about efficiency in these tight games, but also we have to find better solutions in the final third to create more opportunities and more chances to score.
You're a year into the job. You were talking about that in the programme today. How pleased are you with the progress that you made? You had a difficult start to the season, but things again starting to move, despite today, perhaps in the right direction.
Yeah, it's the wrong time to ask me this question straight after this defeat, but when I see the total, it was the 38th game we had, so one season now with Crystal Palace, and I think we achieved 54 points, whereas the highest ever has been 49. So I think the progress is okay, but I still think we can and have to improve many things as a team, as a club, and this is what we are working for.
So a disappointing defeat for Palace at home against Everton, who've really roared up the table after that. After David Moyes came in, and an amazing result, of course, against Liverpool in that final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. They've won the other games as well around that, and they are right in form. And Palace, the victims, even though they probably felt they should have got more out of that. Everton set up on the counter, but got the result. Well, here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, both sets of teams going back down the tunnel for their final instructions from their coaches. Both clubs, of course, unaccustomed to being in their current positions in the table, at least not for a long while. With both managers in a similar situation, United's Ruben Amorim was asked about Ange Postecoglou's difficult season at Spurs.
I'm a huge fan of Ange Postecoglou. Of course, I'm from a different culture. I'm Portuguese, and all the Portuguese coaches, they can adapt, and I adapt. The simple thing is that I use one system in the moment, because I believe if you work on that system, you can play in different system at the same time. So that is my idea, but we are not winning games, and I understand the connection between me and Ange. We have the same problems. In my opinion, with all due respect, I'm in a bigger club with a bigger pressure, so I understand the connection, and I think it's really important a coach to have to follow his principles.
But does Amorim feel sympathy for Ange?
Good guy. He's a very good coach. He wants to play football in the right way. and that is for me is a good good thing. And we know that again when we choose this kind of profession, there is a lot of good things, but then you have to feel that pressure when you don't win.
Ruben Amorim speaking ahead of this match. An interesting point there where he did say about, you know, United being bigger than Tottenham. I mean, I'm not sure if he meant it quite like that, but I mean, even Ange acknowledged that the noise around Manchester United is probably even bigger than what he's had to deal with this season, Bradley.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that frustration globally about Manchester United's sort of fall from grace, which has not only been this season but over a period of time. Probably if you go back to the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson, it takes the narrative off of some other managers that might come under pressure in the Premier League, because it is the story, front page, back page. If Manchester United in the football world and their team on the pitch are not performing particularly well, and that's often been the case for quite a while now. You know, within that they've had the sprinkling of some cup success, but if you're talking about actually Manchester United challenging for the Premier League title, I can't really remember a squad of players that have been at that consistent level and run it close. Like Jose would tell you when he finished second, that was his greatest achievement of all, that particular team. But there's been not many others in recent times, so he's got a big job on his hands, but he comes with a pedigree, did terrific at Sporting, learnt the ropes, polished his skills. Will he get time? He's tactically good. I think he can develop young players. He can adapt and play different formations. He likes one particular formation and at times play counter-attack football and be stubborn and difficult to beat. Whether it's going to be expansive, attacking enough for the Manchester United faithful with the history of the club, time will tell. But what I think he's done, and some of the noise and some of the interviews that I've seen him carry out over the last few months, Andy, he's a bit bullshit. He'll tell you how he sees it, and he said that it's arguably the worst Manchester United team for a while, and he's not afraid. He's gonna go about it how he sees it. He's going to try and address things. Whether he'll come through the other side and Manchester United will become a juggernaut again, time will tell.
Yeah, he's trying to sort of set the platform there to say, look, this is what I'm dealing with, but whether he'll get the time, as you say, at Manchester United remains to be seen. Well, I've been speaking to BBC Manchester's Gaz Drinkwater, who's reporting on the game today, and I asked him how difficult it was to predict a result today.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the injuries that Manchester United have had this week in training. Amad Diallo, of course, being the biggest of those, but illness has affected the team as well. You look at the Manchester United bench, it's all academy players. 477 senior appearances on the bench, but they all belong to Victor Lindelof. That's the issue. So honestly, this game could go anyway. I know Tottenham have a few players back as well. That'll give you a huge boost. But for Manchester United, they've been up and down all season and mostly down. So one thing I will say is United are better away from home.
Well, that's what I was going to come to, because I guess at the moment, the way it's going, it looks like they prefer to play without that kind of what should be a home advantage, but it just doesn't seem to be working out that way.
I think that these players feel the pressure too much of being at Manchester United. I know that Ruben Amorim maybe had a slight dig at Tottenham in the week in saying that I'm at a bigger club than Ange Postecoglou, but it is kind of true. There is more pressure at Manchester United, and you feel the crowd turn against you if things aren't going well. You look around the famous old stadium, Old Trafford, you see banners for George Best, you see banners for Eric Cantona, you see banners for the late great Dennis Law, and if you aren't performing, you look at those banners and you think, I'm not supposed to be here. And at that point you either pump out your chest and you fight for it, or you shirk within yourself. And I'm afraid a lot of these players this season tend to shirk within themselves.
And the League Cup game here recently was chaotic, to say the least. Do you think that there could be something similar here?
I mean, Manchester United, I thought, showed some real fight in that game when they were down, and it looked like they would take the game to penalties potentially. In the end, didn't quite have enough. I mean, I know those goalkeepers were absolutely on one, weren't they, that day? I know it's neither of those two goalkeepers playing today, so maybe it will be a slightly more reserved, but I don't think neither team are fantastic in front of goal. I don't think neither team are great defensively, so hopefully lots of goals, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll be a bit like the Fulham game I watched from Manchester United recently, where there was really hardly any shots on goal. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. I don't think it'll be like that. Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou, no game in midweek this week, but must have felt a little bit like a holiday, given his schedule this season. He arrived for this week's press conference bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and with good news on the injury front, would you believe? Vicario is back today, Maddison as well, Udogie's on the bench, Johnson and Odegaard as well, so it's looking good again, Pat.
I've had to do this 3 times a week, sometimes on 0 sleep. Cut me a little bit of slack. I mean, I can't be bubbly and cheery all the time. No, look, I fair to say, I appreciated the fact there wasn't a game this week. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had dinner with my family last night. My boys said, seems like you haven't had a game for a while, Dad. It's only been 4 days, but that's the cycle we've all been in, and not just me, the other coaches. It's certainly, when you're going at it all the time, you do get into this cycle where it does become a bit of a grind, but you have to do it. There's no alternative. I can't not do things that I'm responsible for. So having the opportunity of, like I said, even this, not having to front up, 2 or 3 times and kind of answer the same kinds of questions allows you to sort of just take a breath, and hopefully I'm back to whatever I was before.
Well, Ange Postecoglou's been without his first choice centre-backs for much of this season, but he says the fact that Van der Ven and Romero aren't back yet, it's certainly not a case of holding those players back for Europe. That's never been the situation.
And we're not all or nothing anymore. We still want to progress in the league. We're not happy with the position we're in. There's still significant games. Not like there's only a few games to go. There's still a lot of football to be played in the league, and we want to address our league position and finish the season strong. And alongside that, like you said, you're perfectly right that obviously the Europa League now is a great focus for us, with us being out of the other cups. But we're not saving anyone for anything, because ultimately what I want is both Mickey and Romero have had disrupted seasons in that they've got injured, come back, got injured again. I don't want the same scenario. Whilst it may look with Mickey like we had a false start with the Elswalk thing, I just thought he gave us an indication of where he's at. And we could have pushed on, absolutely, we could have pushed on Romero, but my view is let's get him back and get him back right till the end of the season, so that we give them a chance as well to kind of make a contribution to hopefully a strong finish for us.
Well, Ange also says having senior players back like Maddison and Vicario provides a lift for the whole squad.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, both of them, particularly Vic, because with Vic, it's not just he's an outstanding goalkeeper. Even training today, he's such a presence amongst the boys. He really gets everyone going, and it's been tough without him, because we've used 3 other goalkeepers, and all of them have contributed. None of them have sort of let us down. It's just that Vic's like I said, he's experienced. He's got this strong personality. So great to have him back. And Matt is the same. Matt has got enormous self-belief, and that sort of filters through the team as well. So I think the energy and, like I said, experience they bring. I've already noticed the training will certainly make a difference for us.
Ange Postecoglou speaking ahead of this Premier League game against Manchester United. Tottenham in the white shirts, blue shorts and white socks. Manchester United in the red shirts, white shorts and black socks. And we're almost ready to get underway here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on BBC Radio London Sport on DAB. So this is how Spurs line up. Welcome back, Guillermo Vicario. You just heard the manager speaking in glowing terms of what he offers. The back four is Pedro Porro, Kevin Danso, Ben Davies and Jed Spence. Davies comes in for Gray after missing that FA Cup tie against Aston Villa. Lucas Bergvall, Rodrigo Bentancur in the midfield, and joined by James Maddison, who is back from injury. He replaces Mikey Moore. And then Dejan Kulusevski and Matthias Tell are either side of Son Heung-min, the captain, who will be up the middle. As for Manchester United, they make 4 changes. In comes Matthijs de Ligt, Casemiro, Alejandro Garnacho and Joshua Zirkzee, and they replace Lenny Yoro, Manuel Ugarte, Amad Diallo, who's been in great form of late, and Kobbie Mainoo. And this is how they line up. Andre Onana in goal, a back three of Matthijs de Ligt, Harry Maguire and Noussair Mazraoui, Diogo Dalot down the left, Patrick Dorgu down the right, Casemiro's alongside Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, and then it's Joshua Zirkzee and Garnacho either side of Rasmus Højlund up front. There's a real difference in the benches though. Tottenham finally getting some players back, the likes of Udogie, Johnson, Odegaard. So their bench is Kinski, Bissouma, Udogie, Gray, Johnson, Odegaard, Sarr, Scarlett and Moore. But for Manchester United, Ely Harrison, Victor Lindelof, Aidan Heaven, Harry Amas, Sekou Kone, Tyler Fredrickson, Chido Obi, Jack Fletcher and Jack Morehouse. Who knows, when you're dealing with Manchester United, maybe there are some household names in there in the future, but it's certainly a very callow bench in terms of experience apart from Victor Lindelof. We're off and underway here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Robert Jones, the referee, and the ball is all the way back to Onana, the Manchester United goalkeeper and the former Ajax keeper. Lofts it forward, Davis meets it, and then flicked on by Bergvall, straight to Casemiro, and the former Real Madrid player gets it forward but doesn't find his intended target. It's won back by Spurs and they move it out to Spence on the left hand side. Back into his own half to Davis. Across the back to the new signing Danso, who goes up the right hand side looking to play it for Tell, who is chasing that hard. A lot of interest in his services from Manchester United, we were led to believe, in the transfer window, but ended up here at Tottenham and has already got his first goal for the club, Bradley.
Yeah, the loan signing starting down the middle as Spurs' number 9 this afternoon, but an expectant crowd. But I think the excitement within the crowd inside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for both sets of fans, and he's the unknown this afternoon. We really don't know what to expect, and I think there'll be goals, there'll be mistakes, and this one probably will have loads for us to talk about.
It's rare as well for Tottenham of late to play a team, you know, that are probably under more pressure than they are even, which is, you know, they've been feeling that pressure a lot, haven't they? But Manchester United must have that weighing on their shoulders as well. Can Tottenham take advantage of that maybe this afternoon? Bergvall running out towards the right touchline. The Swede plays it back in field, and now it's Bentancur infield to Pedro Porro, who's just moving into that midfield area from his right back position. Now Danso, first home start for him, Bradley, after those 2 away cup ties. Danso. Now Spence coming forward down the left hand side, pokes it back to Maddison. Infield he'll go to Tell. And Tottenham able just to move the ball around at the moment. This is what Bradley was mentioning before the game started about how Manchester United under Ruben Amorim are quite happy at times to sit in and try and hit on the counter-attack. So Tottenham getting their foot on the ball early. Bentancur out to Pedro Porro on the right. Tottenham fans in good voice early on as Kulusevski tries to shake off the attentions of 2 Manchester United defenders. Eventually United get it back to the edge of their penalty area. Maguire playing it out. Now back to Fernandes. Swept out towards the right hand side. Dalot is chasing hard, but it's just gone out before he can get there.
Good cover on the switch of play from Spence, who certainly is one of Spurs' players in recent times with appearances, a growth in confidence, and certainly a decent level of performance from Spence, and he deserves a lot of credit for that, coming back into the side.
16 league wins between them in 48 Premier League games this season. It's astonishing. 24 defeats in those 48 games for Tottenham and Manchester United. And I was reading that if there's a draw today, I think that the combined total will be below Liverpool's total after 25 games of the season, which is pretty astonishing. But they are where they are, as some people like to say, and that's why the 2 sets of fans today look at it as, well, you've just got to beat what's in front of you today. Think about the rest of it after, as Danso is on the ball, playing it forward to Bergvall. Neat little turn from the Sweden international who turned 19 a week or two ago. Now it's with Spence. Maddison. Oh, brilliant turn to get away from Mazraoui, who must have fouled him there. Free kick to Tottenham. And,
yeah, he's asking the referee, Maddison. You know, there was an advantage there that he sort of for a second or two allowed, but should that have been a early yellow card for the former Bayern Munich fullback?
Yeah, Mazraoui knew what he was doing there. He wasn't allowing Maddison to get away after an excellent turn. In comes a cross from Spence. Players in there for Tottenham, but it's cleared away as far as Garnacho. That's a dangerous ball back into his own box, and he's put his team under a bit of pressure here. Here comes the cross from Pedro Porro, away up in the air by Casemiro, then flicked away again by Garnacho, and Danso gets it back to Davis on the halfway line. It's a confident start though from Tottenham.
Yeah, it is. They're moving the ball, forcing Manchester United back into that deep defensive compact shape, as you mentioned. Spurs have just got to try and find the spare player, the combination at the right time to break into that penalty box.
Maddison has the ball on the left hand side, plays it up the line to Son, back to Maddison again, the former Leicester midfielder gets it to Tell, now Bergvall, Son, Maddison again, just tries to go direct down the line to Son, and that's brilliant skill from Son to get away from Dalot. That's a dangerous cross as well. It's allowed to go right the way across the 6-yard box by Manchester United. Kulusevski gets to it before any Manchester United defender. Then a bit of interplay with Bentancur, out to the right to Danso. The Austrian international pokes it up the line. Pedro Porro back to Danso again. In comes the cross, flicked up in the air by Maddison, hooked away by Casemiro, and then Bentancur wins the header against Højlund to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, it's all Spurs. Really confident, moving the ball and penning Manchester United back into their own half. Good driving run from Spence.
Great run from Spence. The cross is just overhit though, bit too deep. He'd just fired that low across the 6-yard box. Could have been all sorts of problems.
Acceleration of pace on the left side of the Spurs attack there. Impressive from Spence, but just couldn't quite find the quality on his delivery and smashed the ball across the 6-yard box and out for a goal kick. Encouraging start though.
Certainly is. Bradley Allen alongside me here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where it's a pretty grey old day, as it has been for about 3 or 4 months seemingly in this country, in this part of the world, but a little bit of blue just poking through the clouds, and another chilly day here in North London as Bentancur just clashes heads there with Xerxes.
Yeah, I think
the referee's going to stop play to check on those two.
Xerxes and Bentancur might even require a bit of treatment here. There was a bit of a clash of heads. Fair challenge, no foul either way. They picked themselves up. Manchester United free kick.
It'll be Maguire to take it for Manchester United. The England international floats a lovely pass out to the left-hand side, and Manchester United have the ball midway inside the Spurs half of the field, and finally getting their foot on the ball. Bergvall really pressurising De Ligt, and now it's out to the right-hand side to Dalot. Up the touchline, he's looking for Højlund. Across comes Danso, and it's out for a throw-in. I've been quite impressed by Danso, Bradley.
Yeah, he's fitted in, used his experience at the heart of the Spurs defence, obviously with the longer term injuries to Romero and Van der Ven, and that's what Spurs has needed. We have to compliment Archie Gray with his adaptability in the games that he's sort of featured in that role and either fullback position.
Davis getting the ball in the centre circle for Spurs, and now it's Spence. Manchester United have a little flurry, but hardly really doing anything with their possession so far. Tottenham on the front foot again here with Spence, who gets away from Fernandes, who dived in a little bit and didn't get it. Son back to Bentancur. Our colleague at BBC Sport, Nizar Kinsella, reported on a protest that took place before the match today, but the atmosphere inside the ground is certainly very positive as there's a ball over the top for Son to chase. Onana, just for a second, thought about whether to come or not.
Great idea, high line that time when the ball went back into the Spurs half, and Davis, just outside the centre circle, attempted a clever diagonal pass over the shoulder of the defence. Son was onside. I think if it had took the ball out of the air, it would have took the pace out of that pass and it'd been one-on-one against Onana, but it skips off the surface and through to the Manchester United goalkeeper.
Zirkzee trying to keep the ball in play and does so, just pokes it back down the line to Dalot, and the Portugal international will play it back into the three-man defence. Maguire clips it forward looking for Højlund. Højlund busting a gut to get on the end of this. Davis has gone with him, but Højlund gets there first, shifts it so he can get a strike away on his left foot, saved by Vicario. Fernandes tries to get it back into the penalty area, swept forward again by De Ligt. Manchester United, first real foray here. Garnacho, good save again. Here comes the shot, Dalot, and it's cleared off the line by Davis. Manchester United very close to scoring the opening goal here, and Tottenham haven't quite got it away yet. Dalot again, in it comes, great ball, and Davis heads it behind.
Wow, out of nothing they just sprung forward. Credit to Højlund, 1v1. Ben Davies let him come back in. It was a good initial save from Vicario, returning this afternoon, and then on that left hand side when the ball went to Garnacho, his curling effort was going top left hand corner. Another big hand save from Vicario to prevent the visitors from taking the lead against the run of play.
Davis, importantly, getting that ball away. There was a good save from Vicario, two good saves in there, but the corner to come, and it's Fernandes to send it in. Maguire just couldn't get to that. It comes out to the edge of the box, and then controlled and left-footed volley from Patrick Dorgu goes well over the bar, and it will be a goal kick to Tottenham, who will be a little bit shocked by that, because it was all seemingly going very well up to that point. Dorgu, one of the new signings in January by Manchester United, 20-year-old, born in Copenhagen, 4 caps for Denmark, and formerly of Lecce in Serie A. He's been signed for a 5-year contract for a fee of 25 million. Made his debut in that cup tie against Leicester, where they just about got through in normal time with a strange decision at the very end of that game without VAR, as Bergvall can't quite control that ball near the halfway line. Manchester United have it back, but
they're going into it, aren't they, United, after a bit of a nervous, conservative start really at the beginning. I think the thing is, when they played here in the Cup, the switch of play and getting the wing backs out either side was a tactic that they used quite well, and they caused Spurs a few problems and created some chances, but Spurs back in possession, moving forward and building themselves.
Son sweeping a ball out to Pedro Porro. I remember the Europa League game, Roma trying something very similar, just getting in behind Tottenham's fullbacks who are often well forward. Pedro Porro, little bit of skill to get away from Casemiro. In comes across from the right. Son's there at the back post, drags it back across. Bergvall, and it's saved, and in on the follow-up by Maddison, and Tottenham have the lead against Manchester United. James Maddison back in the team after a short injury, and he puts them ahead. Spurs 1, Manchester United 0.
Super goal from Spurs. Bentancur drifted wide, deep cross, excellent volley back across goal, left foot from Son. It broke to Bergvall. His deflected effort was saved low by Onana, but credit to Maddison, onside, Johnny on the spot, on the rebound, and turned in from close range to give Spurs the lead.
They've beaten Manchester United twice this season, and they are ahead here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the league as well.
Definite goal.
Yeah.
Maddison run from deep, he's onside. Anticipated the parry from Onana.
Good touch from
and
Bergvall,
returning this afternoon from that calf injury, wasn't going to miss. Spurs in front.
Bergvall, that wasn't easy to control it the way he did and get the shot away. And then for Maddison, I mean, he needed a gamble on getting in there, but it was a straightforward finish for him. And Tottenham lead here against Manchester United. And well, Bradley, that just shows you what football can be like. I mean, 2 minutes ago, Manchester United could have so easily had the lead, couldn't they?
Yeah, and I think that's the afternoon we're in store for, whether it's a chance taken, a mistake, Could he have done better there, the Manchester United goalkeeper? But the Spurs fans won't complain. They're in front in a Premier League fixture. It's not been, over the last few months, often the case.
Well, De Ligt on the ball now. When I think of De Ligt and Onana and their former team Ajax, Bradley, it does take you back for Tottenham, of course. They'll have bad memories of Spurs and that Champions League semi-final. Incredible second half. Lucas Moura's heroics as the ball goes out for a throw in at Manchester United, and it will be Dalot to take it. Ruben Amorim is out on the edge of his technical area. Black hooded coat, shiny white trainers. Ange Postecoglou out there as well in the grey coat. So the ball is moved out to the left-hand touchline by Manchester United. Now they get it forward towards Højlund. Chests it down, but quickly in there is Danso, and he's done well, holding off a Manchester United player. And Bergvall also surrounded by red shirts, but keeps the ball for Tottenham. Spence, it's kind of congested on the right-hand side of the field at the moment.
Yeah, Man United were lopsided. Spurs maybe could have done with the captain Son pulling away and offering some space out on the left flank. But you'd certainly think with this positive start and now the lead that Spurs have started with and energy levels, I think that's been epitomised by Bergvall so far. He's been very industrious in these opening minutes. If Spurs get a second here, they're in real firm control in this one.
Dalot controls the ball on the right-hand touchline, moves it upfield. Fernandes trying to find Højlund, intercepted by Davis, and he'll play it forward to Tell. Little flick, inviting Son to run after it. Mazraoui gets it back to Onana, hurriedly sends it out to Dalot on the right touchline, but it works out as a good pass, and then Maddison has just caught Fernandes, and that is the sort of foul that Maddison gets caught with a lot. So Fernandes has a little grin to him as he pats him on
I'm not sure it needed the first level dive there from from Fernandes.
No, but
I think the cold wind made more contact with Fernandes than actually the physical. But what a pass from him out to Manchester United's left.
And
I think he's okay. Yeah,
absolutely. Here come United down that left-hand side. Garnacho moving in field. It's Fernandes. Space for Dalot out on the right-hand side. He finds his fellow Portuguese international. Dalot moving the ball infield to Casemiro. Casemiro trying to sweep it out to the left where there's more space for Dorgu. In comes the cross. Danso clears that with his knee. But he gets plenty on it. And Casemiro has to force it back all the way to the halfway line. And it's Maguire, the former Leicester and Hull defender, getting that out to the left-hand side. Dorgu keeps it in again, down that touchline, moves it back in field to Casemiro. Lovely raking pass from the Brazil international out to Dalot on the right-hand side. Fernandes, Mazraoui. He's got the ball again off Maguire. Up the right, he'll go to Dalot. 1-0 Tottenham lead here. As the tackle comes in from Tell. There's no foul on Casemiro, and Spurs can break here. Kulusevski is going to take on De Ligt. He's cutting in field. Quickly back there is Dorgu, but Kulusevski gets it to Bergvall, and Bergvall can get it to Danso. And
yeah, it was a better spell of possession from Manchester United. The tactical point that I mentioned with a switch from left to right or right to left hand side was getting them sort of towards the final third, but not a final ball or end product. On transition there, Spurs could have broke. Kulusevski opted to turn out. Porro through.
Nice ball for Pedro Porro. Good touch as well. Gets away from 3 United defenders. Puts it in front of Bentancur. Then left by Spence for Maddison to take over. Son. Spence darting down the left, but Son will check back. Maddison to Spence. Looking to try and open a little opportunity here, Tottenham. Spence, that's a good cross. Tell, good first touch. Back to Kulusevski onto his left foot, and Maguire diving in front of him. In the end, when he got the shot away, Maguire was still there, lying in front of him, and it just hit the big defender. Comes out to Spence again on the left-hand side. Spence cutting in field. Little poke forward into the box by Tottenham, but Manchester United have got enough players back there in that area, and they try and run it clear with Xerxes, and Maddison's been penalised for a foul, and they've taken it quickly. Garnacho's offside. Flag goes up immediately. for once, and it's a free kick to Spurs. 18 and a half minutes on the clock. You're listening to BBC Radio London, and it's Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0.
Yeah, again, when Spurs sort of start to construct the passes and work towards the Manchester United penalty box, they're increasingly looking more dangerous, don't they? Son, Maddison, Spence, Bergvall, Tell, Kulusevski, they all look in the mood. They look a little bit fresher and playing with confidence, especially with the lead that they've now got.
Bradley, I have to say that I did feel for them that tie at Villa Park 3 days after what was obviously a huge disappointment at Anfield, and all the players having to go again. Here's Bergvall, can he get a shot away? He's trying to get it out to Kulusevski, it was blocked by Garnacho, and then De Ligt can clear it away out into touch on the far
I think
side.
that's been the most difficult part of the football for Tottenham Hotspur for the last 3 months, you know, because amongst that it's had defeats, so the psychological scarring amongst some of these young players would have been very, very challenging. But I think this week has most definitely helped. You can see that the way that they've started this game.
Yeah.
You know, there's a renewed sense of vigour, isn't there? And Spurs have been good so far.
Yeah, it felt like they really were out on their feet at Villa, and I did feel for them, because usually you would try and change it up there, but just the nature of it, the timing. Tottenham has just got those players back, but it's just a little bit too late for those two competitions. And the manager was saying after the game at Villa that if he had his 11 players who were out fit, he'd give any team in the country a game. And to kind of illustrate his point, he said Liverpool made all those changes today, how did they get on at Plymouth? But they've got a few of them back today, and Maddison is one of them. He wasn't out for as long as most. He's just been clipped there. It's a free kick to Spurs, about over 30 yards from goal, and it will be Maddison to take it. Tell's made a little dart across the edge of the penalty area. Now he comes short. Maddison still waiting to take his option, and he'll go to Danso further back towards the halfway line. 1-0 Tottenham lead thanks to Maddison's goal. 21 minutes now on the clock. And Maddison getting away from Fernandes. Good bit of skill as well to turn him. Now Spence just caught in possession. Højlund comes across, he's tackled hard by Bentancur. Spence though looking for the ball to Tell, is giving it straight to Maguire, who strides forward. He's moving into the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. Now it's Højlund pulling it back. Zirkzee left it, and that was a bit of luck there. Kulusevski was able to pick off that pass with two United players behind him. Son with a heavy touch. Mazraoui's got it, back heel to Zirkzee. He then nutmegs Bergvall. Gets it to Højlund. Højlund back to Casemiro. Now Dorgu up to Zirkzee on the turn. He's going to have a go right-footed, and Vicario diving away to his left. Just sees it evade his grasp, but also...
Yeah, I think similarly for Manchester United, it's not been too often that they've worked the ball to their more attacking players, but they have actually looked quite sharp and come alive with some combinations, some sort of whipped efforts in and around the Spurs penalty box that's forced Vicario into to one or two good saves. But Spurs just haven't, you know, upon winning the ball centrally, broke with enough quality.
Fernandes to Garnacho over the bar. What a chance that was for one of their players that they would expect to put that kind of opportunity away. But Garnacho receiving that ball for Fernandes. He must have been 10 yards out when he hit it. He's put it well over.
Yeah, brilliant assist. And Garnacho should at least hit the target there. He did well, sort of, Danso to lunge across and put him off a little bit. It just popped up off the immaculate surface, but you can't make an excuse that close to the goal for not at least troubling the Spurs keeper and hitting the target.
3 goals this season for Garnacho. Doesn't add to his tally there. Bergvall. Closed down well by De Ligt, and Zirkzee continues forward for Manchester United, then cleared away by Danso. Maguire meets that with his head, but doesn't find a teammate. Out for a throw-in to Spurs on their right-hand side.
He'd be frustrated when he Ruben Amorim. You know, that was a big moment. Would have brought United right back into this game, and he should have dispatched that opportunity.
Yeah. Tottenham on 27 points coming into the game, Manchester United on 29. And I noticed the goal difference as well. Tottenham's goal difference plus 11, Manchester United's minus 6, and there's only 2 points between them in the table. And yeah, it's a strange statistic, that one. And it just shows how many goals Tottenham have had in them. Ball is out to Dalot on the right. He hits it first time, hoping that Højlund would be dashing in on that. Back in comes the cross as they keep it alive, but caught by Vicario, and the flag was up anyway for the ball having gone out of play. And now Bergvall can drive forward for Spurs. He's got support out there on the right hand side as well if he wants it from Kulusevski. Checks back though, and Maddison's in acres of space in the middle of the park. He's got Spence arriving as well. Is he going to have a go here? No, he helps it onto Son. Just inside the box on the left, Son trying to thread that ball through to Kulusevski, but there were 2 United defenders on him, and they can get the ball away through Fernandes, who's passed.
Yeah, this game is really opening up. I think if either side break off the back of the midfield, there's space for ball carriers to really go at the defenders here.
Here they come again, United. Garnacho back to Fernandes. Fernandes is going to have a go here perhaps, and the block comes in from Bentancur just in time. Then Tell with a touch just before Casemiro could get to it, and he's caught the young forward who's being helped up by Casemiro, who maybe Robert Jones just said there, okay, that's your one. Although there wasn't that much in that one. It was didn't seem to be that much contact there. It was just the fact Tell had got the touch in first and was away if Casemiro hadn't caught him. And running at the defenders. Spurs then leading 1-0. They have it out on the left with Spence. Back to Davis. Now looking to play it back to Vicario again, who controls it at the back, plays it out to the left-hand side, and Tottenham move forward with the Wales international Davis. Infield to Danso. Now Maddison. He's looking for Son in behind. What a pass that is from Maddison. Son, can he pick another pass here? Gets it back to Tell. Good save by Onana, and it's going out for a corner to Spurs. Son didn't touch it because he knew he would have been offside, and what an immaculate pass that was from Maddison.
Sweeping move, wasn't it? Disguise, reverse, right foot to Son from Maddison, cut back from the Spurs captain. Tell pulled away, left foot, effort near post, good save. Onana down to his right.
So the corner's going to be played in by Son. Left arm in the air, here it comes, right-footed, whipped into the near post, headed away by Casemiro only as far as Kulusevski. Kulusevski playing it back to Maddison, just outside the box. Now Bentancur, the Uruguayan, to Kulusevski. Floated to the back post towards Tell. He's being watched closely by Mazraoui, tried a bit of skill, comes off the defender. Oh, it's come off Tell last.
Correct decision.
Yeah,
he did well. He used the touchline there, Mazraoui, and put Tell under pressure. He tried to Cruyff turn, his former Bayern Munich counterpart, but off of the Spurs number 11, out for a throw-in, which Dorgu would take.
BBC Radio London Sport on DAB, live here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs have the advantage thanks to James Maddison's goal scored in the 13th minute. But Manchester United have also had a number of moments where they would have felt they could have got on the score sheet, and it does feel like there will be more goals. Dalot back to Mazraoui, and he'll give it to Onana. The Cameroon international only finds Davis with his clearance. Fernandes diving in there, but Maddison has got it off him. Davis again, well forward from that centre-back position. Maddison, lovely pass off the outside of the boot to Kulusevski. He's knitting it together really nicely today, Maddison. And Bergvall now out to the right-hand side. Porro, thinking about the right-footed cross, goes back to Bergvall. Bentancur, he's going to get it in the area to Kulusevski. Just a bit too much on the first touch, and De Ligt can sweep it away in a touch.
I think the Spurs players are just sensing if they just get that final ball, undoubtedly there's going to be another 2 or 3 really good chances to double, possibly treble their advantage here in this first half.
Davis has possession for Tottenham in the centre-back position, which he's becoming more and more accustomed to. The former Swansea man who's been with Tottenham such a long time now. Pedro Porro, in comes the cross. They've allowed that to go straight across the 6-yard box, cleared away in the end by Dalot, with Son just behind him, looking to put that in. Bergvall has it again though, just outside the Manchester United penalty area. Danso to Bentancur, now Spence, controls it on the left foot, gives it to Maddison, quick pass from him to Kulusevski. Maddison then out to Son on the left. Spence again.
They're dominating Tottenham, haven't they? You know, I know they've had their moments, Manchester United, but that's been quite sparse, really. Garnacho probably should have scored, but Spurs in possession and moving the ball in fluid fashion.
Ball with Tottenham on the right-hand touchline. They'll go back into their own half to Danso. And it's noticeable how Tottenham have just allowed their centre-halves to join in attacks as and when, with the full-backs just providing a bit of cover. They really are stepping on and putting pressure on. Here's Tell, darting across the pitch. He's just sold Pedro Porro a little short there, but the ball does ricochet to Danso, and now it's with Bentancur. Maddison, good tackle that by Casemiro, and now the counter's on. It's Xerxes, good pass to Fernandes. He's bolting forward to the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. In comes the cross, cut out by Bentancur, and Spence will bring it away for Tottenham. And he's a great sight when he's in full flow. He's moved across the halfway line, just stepping on the accelerator. Now it's Son. Son trying to beat his man, just keeps it under pressure from Mazraoui. Plays it back to Spence. Squares it to Bentancur. Now Tell. Maddison, caught there by Maguire. No, says the referee. And Manchester United again will come away. Fernandes. Oh, Højlund can't reach that. And Bentancur quickly onto it. And Spurs will come forward again with half an hour on the clock. Spence back to Bentancur. Now with Bergvall. Out to the right to Kulusevski. Cross comes Dorgu. So Tottenham go back and across to the left-hand side. And it's Spence.
Brilliant noise from the Tottenham fans, lots of encouragement. I think they know that this Manchester United side are there for the beating, Andy, aren't they? You know, if Spurs play their cards right and produce the necessary quality.
Ball all the way back to goalkeeper Vicario from Kulusevski, who's been another of those players, along with the likes of Pedro Porro. Archie Gray seems to have played virtually every game in this tough run for Tottenham, never shirking the responsibility, and he's still going strong out on that right-hand touchline at the moment. Bergvall, his Sweden teammate, coming forward and moving it out to Kulusevski on the right. That's a lovely cross from Kulusevski. Good dart by Bentancur as well. Tries to pull it back to two players arriving.
Yeah,
it's just cut out.
That half space run, pulling one of the three centre halves out of position off the back of the wing back. Is getting Spurs into the penalty box. It's just the final ball, the cutback that's evaded them at the moment, but they have earned a right-sided corner here that Porro will take.
Pedro Porro then to deliver this from the right-hand side. So we're curling away from the Manchester United goal. A cold wind whistles through the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And here it comes. Højlund beaten in the air. Maguire doesn't get to it either. Bergvall on the turn, trying to get the shot away, but I think the foul has been given already.
Yeah, nudging the back on Casemiro.
Free kick to Manchester United.
Referee wasn't going to miss that one.
So, Bradley, you mentioned to me earlier that Jack Fletcher, son of Darren Fletcher, the former Manchester United player, I believe Darren Fletcher, as part of the scouting team, is actually in this press box somewhere, quite close to us. So it'll be quite some moment for him to see.
Oh, very much so. Other young players, they've signed an academy player Aidan Heaven, centre-half from Arsenal recently. Harry Amos was recruited at 16 from Watford. Chido Obi, a young striker that was recruited from Arsenal. So Manchester United's recruitment drive has been enormous with younger players from across the country, Europe and the rest of the world. And a good number of them are on because of injuries and one reason or another on the bench here this afternoon, and possibly debuts, minutes, opportunity for some of them.
People were saying to me that Arsenal certainly wouldn't have wanted Heaven to leave in January.
A player with potential. The striker Obi is one that scores goals. He's been on the radar of a lot of clubs, and contract situation over the ball there. Madison,
he might go
probably yellow or just a talking to.
Yeah, this might be his last one because I
think because the game has not been that fierce, you'd say, although competitive. Another referee might have deemed that slightly different, so he gets the benefit of the doubt. But United free kick from the centre circle.
So United will send this forward through Fernandes, out to the left to Maguire. Can he keep that in? No, he's had to stretch for it, and it's looped behind for a goal kick.
That was all a little bit ugly, wasn't it? He was onside, but he was stretching for it, the England centre half.
Yeah, going to test the hamstring, that one. It also fell
over and volleyed it out of play. They enjoyed that one, the Tottenham fans.
They certainly did. Maguire have dealt with that many times.
Oh, what played Spence.
Crossing the halfway line again, getting it forward to Tell. Tell just taking it away from De Ligt and then moving it back to Spence. Is he going to hit one here? No, he's going to curl it out to the right, and I don't think Kulusevski's going to keep that in. Maybe he is. Well done, Kulusevski. And he tries to play it back down the line, comes off the United defender, throw in a Spurs. Pedro Porro to Bergvall. Spence seems a bit reluctant to take on a shot. There's been a couple of occasions where he's just got
a couple of times though, I think, from that left full back position where he's played forward or accelerated and drove into space. He's looked really dynamic, Jed Spence.
Out to the right, here comes a ball in from Pedro Porro, but Son can't reach that before it goes out behind for a goal kick to Manchester United. He claps his hands in frustration there, the Spaniard, and holds his hand up as if to say, wasn't quite my best, that one. Tottenham unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games against Manchester United, winning 2, drawing 2, and looking to complete the league double over United for the first time since 1989-1990, before they really got it together. Manchester United, I think it's fair to say, in the modern era, maybe in the Premier League era, when that began. But 3-0, as Bradley mentioned, up at Old Trafford in the league, 4-3 in the League Cup, and they're ahead again here in the return fixture in the Premier League, thanks to Maddison's goal in the 13th minute, and they could go above Manchester United with a victory up to 12th place, which I won't dwell on that too much. Ball to Casemiro. Oh, Davis came in very quickly there, caught him, and the advantage was played there by the
did
referee.
Well, the referee, probably the right decision. Ben Davies had to apply pressure, and he was just a split second late. Free kick for United. It's important that Spurs keep a clean sheet to that half-time whistle. Give them a chance to just have a little bit of a breather and then attack that amazing south stand in the second half away to our right-hand side, because I feel that there's another goal here for Tottenham, but Manchester United will have to, gamble a little bit more, maybe involve and put on some of those young players a bit of youthful energy and exuberance in this second half and chase it.
Clean sheet in their last league game, Tottenham against Brentford. And in fact, looking for back-to-back league wins. The last time they did that was in September. As the ball is floated into the box, Vicario clattered by De Ligt, and the flag has gone up, and it will be a free kick to Spurs. Vicario accepts the apology from De Ligt, and it will be a free kick to Spurs. Those back-to-back wins they had in September in the league, the last time they've done that, Brentford and Manchester United. So
they were good first half yesterday, Brentford, in the London derby at the London Stadium. West Ham made some changes, come back into it a little bit, but could have been 4-5 up in that particular game.
And Brentford, again, proving a difficult team to beat in those London derbies. They did the double over Crystal Palace recently as well. There's Bentancur trying to get away from Casemiro, but untidy challenge in the end. It's a free kick to Manchester United. Well, he's been at Manchester United in a difficult period, but if you're a young player going out there and Casemiro's playing, he's a legend, isn't he, Bradley?
Yeah, some pedigree, tremendously successful. Whether it will be the last few months of his Manchester United career and a departure, possibly. Here he is on the ball inside the box.
The Brazilian international, 75 caps for his country, gets the cross in, it's dropped in the 6-yard box, still not cleared, then Spence hooks it away. And now Manchester United go back to the halfway line. They definitely have a height advantage, Manchester United, when they send those players forward in that kind of situation. Headed away to Son, great bit of skill to bring that ball under control. Casemiro's going to dive in. Well, I could see that coming, Bradley, from a mile off. He was no way going to let Son go any further there. No. Both players have ended up down on the turf.
Naughty challenge that, left the referee with no choice. He might be struggling, Son. He's caught him right through the back, and Casemiro might have injured himself as well.
That was
poor challenge, that.
So
clumsy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just don't think he was going to let him go any further.
Oof.
Son was protecting the ball. He's come round the leg and he's actually landed.
Right knee rotated.
Really bad. Son's sort of holding his left ankle. I just hope they're able to continue here. Casemiro, who we were just talking about, 3 La Liga titles in Spain with Madrid, 5 Champions Leagues, 75 caps for Brazil. He's yellow carded, and yeah, there's certain times in commentary where you actually start to describe what's going to happen before it happens, and that was one of them. He was intent that Son was going no further, but good to see them both back up, Bradley, even if they're both not moving as well as they usually do. Feeling the brunt of that challenge, Son. And it's a free kick midway inside their own half for Spurs. We've got 4 minutes to go in the first half, Bradley.
Yeah, it's been a good performance from Tottenham Hotspur so far. I think they're deserving, worthy of the lead. Manchester United have had a few attacking moments, but not too many. But generally, Spurs have played with confidence, some decent possession, and players with much improved energy levels. That's clearly noticeable, Andy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Usually they've always played with this kind of energy and playing high up, pressing high, but it was noticeable in that Villa Cup tie. It felt like they couldn't actually ask that of the players after the night at Anfield, where they emptied the tank a few days earlier. Villa had had a week to prepare. Here's Maddison, just trying to shake off the attentions of Mazraoui. He's going to play it out to Son on the left-hand side. Son on his right foot, sending the cross in. It goes way up in the air off Maguire's head, and then caught by Onana. And the 28-year-old trying to get the ball out to the right-hand side. Half-time, we'll have reaction to some of the WSL games that have happened earlier today. Arsenal with a thumping win over Tottenham, 5-0. The ball is played out to the right-hand side to Dalot. Dalot invited the challenge there from Spence, but is helped out by Mazraoui. Fernandez under pressure from Maddison. Infield to Casemiro. His pass forward too far up the line for Fernandez to reach, and it's a throw into Tottenham.
Yeah, good pressing out of possession there from Spurs. Again, using the touchline, forcing Manchester United into that mistake. And that'll be important. You know, those moments where there's that opportunity for Spurs to deny Manchester United possession and rhythm and work and find their way back into this game.
Spence, lovely turn down the left. Off he goes again. Clattered by Mazraoui, and that'll be a free kick.
Yeah, it should be a yellow really. That's about 3 or if not 4. Mazraoui's getting the benefit of the doubt. I'm surprised the Spurs players, you don't really want to see it. They should be going around the referee and just posing and asking the question.
Trying to get in the Tottenham faces there, but that was a bit too much maybe from the Moroccan international. Another former Ajax player, won 3 titles and 2 cups in Dutch football, and of course was part of that Morocco team that reached the World Cup semi-final, the first African team ever to reach a men's World Cup semi-final in 2022. Received the Order of the Throne for that, which sounds, pretty impressive. Here's Son with the free kick. In comes a great ball, headed up in the air, just on the edge of the 6-yard box by Fernandes. Terrible clearance from Garnacho. Fernandes is there to try and get it away again, but it's gone way up in the air and not very far. But United, through Fernandes again, get it up towards the halfway line. Højlund battling for this. Davis has caught him. Xerxes continues the attack though. Moves it infield to Fernandes. He's robbed of it by Maddison, and Tottenham have a chance to attack just before the break. 15 seconds plus stoppage time to go at the end of this first half. Tell on the ball out on that right hand side. Tackle comes in from Dorgu, and that was a sense of an opportunity gone there a little bit as Tell just took the pace out of the
fans
break.
Maybe wanted Maddison and Tell to go a bit quicker. Dorgu's just been found. Just a minute of injury time. Maybe the last attack here from Menu.
Out to the left touchline for United. Garnacho, Maguire, Mazraoui. Only 4 teams have picked up less points than United since Amorim took charge. He's been trying to set his ways, but a bit like Tottenham, he's probably not had that many weeks where he's actually able to work on formation and tactics in training really to the extent he might like to. It's played up the left infield from Dorgu to Garnacho. Tottenham desperate not to concede with seconds left at the end of stoppage time first half. It's out to Dalot, controlled, and then cross comes in, flicks off of a defender, then hooked away by Davis, and there's the whistle from the referee, and Tottenham lead at half-time thanks to the 13th minute strike from James Maddison after Bergvall got a shot away, deflected slightly off the keeper, and there was Maddison to put it in from close range. Manchester United have come close since then, and just before that goal as well. Tottenham also asking questions and certainly have shaded the possession and territory by, I say shaded, they've actually easily had the better of that, I'm sure. But at the break, here on BBC Radio London Sport on DAB, the half-time score is Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 0.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.
Well, Bradley Allen, just before a little break, I just wanted to get your feelings on how the game's gone for Tottenham so far, and also how it might, move on from here.
A decent half of football. You'd probably say, Andy, Spurs' best performance for 45 minutes for quite some time. They deserve to be in front. They've played with purpose, energy, forward momentum. Players look fresh, showing confidence. I think the goal, the follow-up, the rebound that Maddison comfortably dispatched, returning to the side this afternoon, was a well-taken finish. Manchester United have had 1 or 2 moments, notably Garnacho should have done better with their probably best chance of the half. Højlund's been hard working, Fernandes, Xerxes have tried to connect it, but Spurs are in front, and it's one of them, Andy. You keep a clean sheet now, and all the fans go home happy, and 3 important Premier League points for Tottenham tonight.
Back-to-back clean sheets in the league, back-to-back wins, that would be something, wouldn't it? Bradley, thank you very much for the time being. Bradley Allen, who will be alongside me, Andy Rowley, for the second half commentary live here from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with Spurs leading 1-0 as we head into that second half. But earlier on today, England international Chloe Kelly came off the bench to make her debut in a second spell at Arsenal as they thrashed North London rivals Tottenham. It was Kelly's first game for the Gunners since joining on loan from Manchester City in dramatic fashion on deadline day at the end of January. An own goal by Tottenham defender Claire Hunt put Arsenal ahead in the 15th minute before Mariona Caldente doubled the lead 20 minutes later. Frida Manum's 51st minute strike then deflected in off Hunt before Alessia Russo's effort 7 minutes later, and a stunning late hit from Emily Fox completed the rout. Here's the England and Arsenal striker Alessia Russo.
When you come to Arsenal, you understand the rivalry and the history of this game, but we want that in every game as well. Today was really important for us, for the club and for the fans, but yeah, we want to keep pushing and we've got a massive end to the season.
Well, Arsenal manager Renée Sleggers spoke to the BBC's Joe Curry after the game.
Well, Renée, that was a sensational afternoon for Arsenal. How special is that for you as manager?
Yeah, the whole setting, I think, goosebumps with the North London Forever song before the game, but then you're still in the unknown, you don't know how the game is going to play out, and then of course the way we dominate today and nullify their threat, I'm very pleased with that, and clean sheet again.
You're clearly pleased about the 3 points with the scoreline. What pleased you most about the performance?
Yeah, I think the unpredictability that we appear with now at the moment, that it's hard to defend us because we find different ways to do it and different ways to create chances. Like I said, the clean sheet is important for us. We have different goal scorers, which is a part of our versatility and unpredictability as a team at the moment. And then I think we're especially in the second half, a little bit sloppy on the ball sometimes. So it's yes, it's a 5-0 and it's a clean sheet. Of course, very happy with that. But we also want to bring the game to the next level, and I think there's a next level for us still.
If you can be sloppy and still win 5-0, it's not all bad, is it? Emily Fox at the end with a goal that's possibly contender for goal of the month. How much has she been practicing that kind of shooting from distance in training?
Well, the perfect answer would be this is what we practiced yesterday, and that's why she scores today. But no, she's one of those players that she gets into those situations. We get up high on the pitch when we build long attacks with a lot of players high, and then of course both in training, but when we play attack via defenses, she gets in those situations. But we also work a little bit on finishing with her at the moment.
And just finally, with Manchester United also winning today, how important is it now that pretty much every game you need to win to stay in touch with those Champions League spots?
Yeah, super important. I wasn't aware of that result yet, so even more important we won today, and we had all focus on our game today, and I'm very happy with the result.
7 days until your next game. Can you celebrate tonight?
I think it's international break coming up, so it's it's going to be a long wait until the next game for us, coaches and players staying at home, but the international players will be busy with international games.
As mentioned there, Manchester United beat Crystal Palace 3-1 today. Chelsea 2-1 winners over Everton, and West Ham United beating Brighton and Hove Albion by 3-1. Man City play Liverpool in the Women's Super League at 6:45 this evening, and the early result in the Premier League saw Liverpool extend their gap at the top of the Premier League over Arsenal to 7 points again with a 2-1 win over Wolves, thanks to goals from Diaz and the penalty from Mohamed Salah. Well, we brought you lots of action yesterday, of course, on the home of London football, as always on a Saturday. And let's start our look back to everything that took place yesterday on the sports show with an important win away for Brentford at West Ham.
Damsgaard spills it infield to Wissa, who curls it towards Mbumu, nudges it down to Schade, edge of the penalty area. It's a shot which is up in the air and somehow cleared off the goal line. Schade, it's again blocked, this time by Alphonse Areola, and the referee says it's crossed the goal line, and Kevin Schade has scored for Brentford. All sorts of consternation at the back for West Ham United. The referee, it may well be checked first for VAR, is looking at the watch. They're celebrating with Kevin Schade.
Very happy, especially the first half. I thought the first half we were in complete control. We dominated throughout the first 45 minutes. The only and actually relatively big complaint is that we was not completely out of sight. I thought we should have been 3-0 up. We had 2 disallowed goals, 1 marginal offside. We hit the post. We have 3 or 4 other very big chances and 5-6 dangerous situations where we need to get more out of it. So very impressed with that. Away from home, second half, We know they changed 3 players. They had to come with more energy. What I like is that we are actually fairly in control throughout that second half.
Tarkowski was up from the back there among the players he was aiming for, finds Harrison on its way to the far post. Now it's with Ashley Young, whose shot is blocked by Hughes, comes back in, and Everton are back ahead!
It's also my job and the job from my staff and me to find better solutions against teams to play in this similar way, because we have to reduce the easy mistakes, because we know it's about efficiency in these tight games, but also we have to find better solutions in the final third to create more opportunities and more chances to score.
Free kick for Millwall, then left foot in, angled into the area, cleared away by West Brom, picked up once again by Millwall, stab a long high ball into the penalty area, but it dropped for Connolly, appeals for handball, referee says nothing, the ball cleared away, Tanganga will pick it up just shy of halfway and he plays it down the line, the cross comes in, left footed, into the area, Cooper in there, Cooper heads it home, that's no more than Millwall deserve, they have been fluid, they have been fantastic, and now they have the lead. It's Millwall 1, West Brom 0.
I thought we performed really well. I thought for the first 30-35 minutes I thought we were excellent. I thought we deserved the lead, and then I thought we had a little crazy 5-minute spell that allowed West Brom back into the game. Started with a set play right in the keeper's hands, we don't recover. I think they break down our right hand side, and then I think we end up bundling the ball into our own net, which is really frustrating. And then I thought you could see a little bit of lack of confidence for 5 minutes. I thought we looked a little bit sort of stretched at times, and I thought the crowd got a little bit edgy in the fact that things weren't falling in our favour.
Galbraith with the cross into the penalty area. Kelman is there, and they do it! Have taken the lead once more! Charlie Kelman putting Leitner in front in stoppage time, and that could be the winner. Charlie Kelman celebrates in front of the faithful. They know how important that goal could be. It is Leitner 3, Lincoln City 2.
Yeah, I didn't know, he's the first real test of character that we've had. I know we was behind against Stockport and we had to chase the game a little bit, but it's the first time we've been pegged back in a lead for a long time, so it tested our resilience, and you have to give credit to the players because they kept going. We had a 25-minute spell where we kept on playing in front of them, too many touches, too many passes, and they're set up just to pounce on a loose ball and then counter-attack. And I thought there was a threat when he got to 2-1. There was a threat, but we had enough chances to win this game.
Dispossessed with Michael Cheek into the box. Cheek with a great goal! Just nicks it off the goalkeeper. 15 seconds into the second half. Dillon around at the back, Fleetwood Town. Cheek in, curled it past the goalkeeper. Bromley 1, Fleetwood 0.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid team performance. It's going to be hard. They come here with a game plan. They had 5 centre-halves, playing in their back line, and you can see that they wanted to match us up for the power we've got, and be solid, and I respect that. And it was always going to be a margin one way or the other, and luckily enough we got Michael Cheek that pounced on a mistake and put it in the net, so that's great for us.
Yeah, I mean that goal was typical poaching, wasn't it? But he nicked it away, and it was a good finish too.
Yeah, it was a good finish, and when he goes through in those moments you kind of almost not sort of completely have a sigh of relief, but that he's pretty much going to put it away, and he put it away lovely.
Yeah, that's what he's done. He's done it for many years.
Absolutely.
Danny Imre though, what a game he had. He belts up and down that right wing, causes chaos. Great shot in the first half, well saved.
Yeah, Danny's, like I say every week, Danny's been brilliant for us. He's a real star for, and Palace's player. They've got a player in their hands there. He was great, Danny. And look, he gets kicked to bits. He gets chopped up in the air. He just keeps going. Credit to him. I thought he was excellent, and he's a real attacking threat. And I think when you've got him on one side and Congreve on the other, it does put teams on the back foot a little bit.
Certainly, he didn't have too many problems in the first half. In the second half, of course, Fleetwood are going to come at you, and they made changes as well. A couple of saves from Grant Smith I've got to talk about. The one, first of all, from Felix Patterson, the save to his right-hand side.
Yeah, it was a great save. Look, I've played in that position. When someone cuts inside, you kind of, you don't anticipate, but you know they're going to go for that far corner, but you still got to get across and make the save, and it was a fantastic save. And then the one at the end was just an instinctive get across your line, get everything in front of it, and it, thankfully, it hit him on the head and went out. that's what he's there for. Fantastic. He's been great for us all season, Grant, and I'm glad he gets the plaudits when we have moments like that.
Strangely enough, I think your skipper, Byron Webster, had one of his quieter games today. He didn't have a great deal to do, did he? He headed a few away, knocked a few away, but often he's the man that's really digging you out.
Yeah, he leads by example though out there, Byron. He's a good voice out there. He's an experienced campaigner. We've got him out there. We've got Carl Jenkinson as well. I thought gives us a lot of experience out there, and just at a time of the season probably where we're relying on a little bit of experience. So no complaints from me. There was a bang on it, the lads today.
Weekday afternoons on BBC Radio London.
It's the one conversation none of us want to have.
You start small, but with the biggest impact.
The notion of Shakespeare is for everybody.
It's kind of Shakespeare's best hits.
Jay Corgarval. Monday to Thursday.
How did Fabi and friends react initially when you were saying, this is what we're doing?
I thought we were nuts.
Jumoke Bashila on Friday.
We need you to be the wisdom in the middle of all of this.
It's a great question.
Weekday afternoons.
I'm still on the market looking for my Lady Phantom.
From 2.
Wonderful to be here with you.
It's a love fest, darling. It's a love fest.
BBC Radio London.
Text 81333, starting your message with the word London.
Texts are charged at your standard message rate. See our privacy notice at bbc.co.uk/local radio privacy or find us on social media.
BBC
Radio London.
BBC Radio London.
The home of London football.
We're live here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Spurs against Manchester United, and Spurs have the advantage heading into the second half thanks to their returning midfielder James Maddison. Pedro Porro, little bit of skill to get away from Casemiro. In comes across from the right. Son's there at the back post, drags it back across. Bergvall, and it's saved, and in on the follow-up by Maddison, and Tottenham have the lead against Manchester United. James Maddison back in the team after a short injury, and he puts them ahead. Spurs 1, Manchester United 0. Super 10th goal of the season for the England international Maddison, and scored in his last game before this current injury break against Hoffenheim. He's on the score sheet again, and Spurs lead against Manchester United heading into the second half. Manchester United came close on a few occasions. Big save from Vicario, a clearance off the line by Davis, and Garnacho putting over the bar when played in really well by Fernandes. But Tottenham overall were in control of that first half, apart from a few scares. And can they build on that going into the second half and get a third victory over Manchester United this season? You'll find out right here with us on BBC Radio London Sport on DAB. It's Andy Rowley alongside Bradley Allen, and just to mark your card, we'll be with you on the sports show tomorrow evening from 6 as we look back on all those games that you heard us reflecting on there. And we'll also reflect on this one tomorrow evening and look ahead to some of the games to come. Big night of football on Tuesday for some of our London sides. We'll have commentary of Millwall's game at Preston, and we'll also bring you reports from Wrexham Orient as well as Fleetwood against Wimbledon. And later on in the week, Friday night, we'll get our commentaries and coverage underway for the next weekend of football, with Brentford heading to Leicester in the top flight ahead of a very busy Saturday. But still to come this weekend, the second half of this one, the last Premier League game of the weekend. It's Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0, heading into the second half, and we're off and underway with Tottenham in white shirts, blue shorts and white socks, Manchester United in the red shirts, white shorts and black socks, and Spurs winning possession back on the left touchline. It's the goal scorer Maddison playing it off the outside of his boot for Son to chase. Mazraoui back to goalkeeper Onana, who clips that up in the air. Bergvall with a good leap, but his header goes to Casemiro, who lofts a ball forward out to the left-hand side, and Dorgu just collides there with Kulusevski. It's a foul, says the referee. Kulusevski's actually gone down after the challenge, and it will be a free kick to Manchester United on their left-hand side. This is how they line up at the start of the second period. It's Vicario in goal for Spurs, back after a few months out with injury. It's Porro, Danso, Davis and Spence, the back four. A midfield of Bergvall, Bentancur and Madison, who's been influential to say the least. And then Kulusevski and Son either side of Tell, who's up the middle. For United, it's Onana in goal, De Ligt, Maguire and Mazraoui at the back, Dorgu and Dalot down the flanks, Fernandes and Casemiro in the middle, and then Xerxes and Garnacho either side of Højlund up front. I'll run you through the benches in just a moment, but there's a free kick here for United after that foul from Kulusevski, and Fernandes will float it in. Maguire's there at the back post, heads it back across the area. Madison doesn't get it away, and then Bentancur is there to send it up in the air, and Tell will keep this in on the left touchline. Matthias Tell, who scored late on in that cup tie against Villa for his first goal for the club. Ball sent forward down the left, looking for Son's run in behind, but it was cut out by United, and they have possession back with De Ligt, the former Bayern Munich, Juventus and Ajax defender. It's not a bad trio of clubs you can put on your CV, as the ball is out to the right to Pedro Porro. His cross cut out by Fernandes. He's going to back heel to keep it in. Not many you'd see do that on their own goal line, but Fernandes makes those things look quite easy. Dorgu trying to get it away. He's played it straight to Pedro Porro. He's put it in behind De Ligt, who tries to shield it out. Good bit of skill from Kulusevski, and then De Ligt decides, right, I've got to put it behind now, and it's a corner to Tottenham, Bradley.
Yeah, they were playing around with it deep by that corner flag, wasn't they, Dorgu and Fernandes? I don't think De Ligt was too happy. Perseverance from Kulusevski. He's all right. He just took a knock on the right side of his jaw. Spurs corner, lifted the crowd. I think to get second here. I'm not so sure at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Man United across his second half could score 3 goals this afternoon, Andy.
Here's Pedro Porro with the corner. So in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Maguire heads it away. Out to Pedro Porro, who took the corner. And it comes again. It's left by virtually everyone. Comes back to Bergvall. His shot is blocked. And now it's fired by Tell. Saved by Onana. And it remains 1-0 to Spurs.
Yeah, bobbling around. Didn't really fall or settle kindly to any player. Eventually from Tell, edge of the box. His volleyed effort straight to the keeper.
Manchester United then.
Oh dear.
Bit of pressure on Maguire. Has to get that away before Tell can get to it. Just about does so on the edge of his penalty area, and then Garnacho, that falls behind him. Well, he was really bright coming on in the FA Cup tie against Leicester, Garnacho, but he's not looked so good from the start today.
No, I think that big chance that he missed midway through the first half has affected his confidence a little bit. In recent times he hasn't been always a starter for Amorim. I think he's maybe got some doubts over the young winger. We know he's electric at times and take players on, ball carry, assist and score goals. But I think Amorim is quickly making his mind up whether he can be consistent enough for him in performance in a Manchester United shirt. He is young, there is time, we shall see.
He's capable of the absolutely outstanding, isn't he? He's got that in his locker. But along with Mainu, there's talk of him maybe leaving, which I found pretty amazing given the sort of players you'd think that they'd build the whole thing round. That's a lofted cross from Son, which was well over hit, and it's out for a goal kick to Manchester United, who trail 1-0. 4 minutes gone in the second half. You're listening to BBC Radio London, live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. As the ball is played out to the left to Dorgu. Infield he will go to De Ligt, and the Dutchman will play that forward for Højlund to chase. Up goes the flag, and it'll be a free kick to Spurs midway, 10 yards inside their own half. And that high line working out pretty well for Tottenham today. I mean, Højlund hasn't got electric pace, has he, Bradley? So they can take a bit more of a chance there.
I think his time at the club, he's had a couple of injuries, bit stop-start. They're certainly trying to make him more athletic, more powerful, bulk him up. But there's been many a centre forward that has been signed by big money by Manchester United that have struggled to overcome the pressure. Referee's just having a word with the young striker there. Spurs taking their time with Danso on the restart.
Danso forward to Bentancur. Now Kulusevski trying to turn Dorgu on that touchline. It's out for a throw into Tottenham.
But they're going to have to push, aren't they? They're going to have to jump engage, pressure, make duels, win the ball back, Manchester United, because if they don't, I'm not sure their travelling fans and the Man United supporters across the globe will be too happy. They don't try and at least show willing to work their way back into this one.
Maguire forward to Garnacho, trying to get away from Pedro Porro. It's easier said than done. It's come off the Manchester United player last.
Good pressure, well done Porro.
Tottenham throw in.
He's had a steady performance this afternoon.
United players at the moment, body language is not that great. They're looking a bit sorry for themselves. Can Tottenham capitalise on that and push for this second goal? It's back from Pedro Porro to Bergvall, who stretches to sweep that ball to Davis. Maddison and Davis combining, and Maddison has it on the halfway line. That's a lovely little pass up the touchline to Spence. Spence rolling the ball under his foot, trying to get away from Mazraoui. Great run from Spence. Kulusevski and then Tell has put it over. He wasn't expecting it. Thought Kulusevski was going to...
Top play, wasn't it? Really good from the impressive Spence on Spurs' left. Accelerated, got beyond the Mazraoui 1v1. It was a fast cross, touched by Kulusevski. It come quickly at Tell. It wasn't an easy chance for the young striker. And his volleyed effort scooped it over the bar.
Goal kick then to Manchester United. Onana will play it forward into the Tottenham half of the field. Davis challenging Xerxes for it. Fernandes back to De Ligt. Now Maguire.
Offside.
Flags stay down at the moment. Here comes Dalot. Saved at the near post.
He didn't need to run as early. There wasn't pressure on the ball as Maguire stepped central inside the United half and wedged the ball over the top of the high Spurs line. He should have waited maybe half a yard. Porro possibly on this side of the pitch may have been playing Dalot onside, but I don't think so. I think the linesman got that one correct.
Well, Vicario had his near post covered, kept it out, and Tottenham moving forward through Maddison. Sliding tackle comes in from Dalot, and now they have it in the heart of their midfield with Fernandes and Casemiro. Headed away by Danso, only as far as Højlund, then cleared away hurriedly by Pedro Porro. Maddison saying, just calm it. He's saying there was no way we could have kept that ball as it came forward, but Pedro Porro would probably say, well, we needed to get it away quite sharply at that point. As the ball goes out to the right hand side for Manchester United. Maguire, neat pass to Casemiro. He clips it out to the right touchline. He's still just 32 years old, Casemiro, despite, I think a lot of people are probably thinking he's 3 or 4 years older than that, but here's a ball through for Garnacho. Good first touch. Porro comes across. Good save. Garnacho pulls it back. It's behind Højlund, and Danso can clear.
Another big chance.
Pedro Porro, brilliant.
From out to in on his movement, Garnacho, the touch was really good, and he backed off. He wasn't sure to come out. Man United have still got the momentum, having regained the ball. Another attack from them.
Xerxes ahead of him. He prods it back. Scored in that FA Cup win over Leicester, did Xerxes. Hasn't been the easiest first season for him after he scored on his debut. Maguire, De Ligt floats it out. They've got an overlap here, but he's overhit it. It's over Fernandes, and it's out for a throw into Tottenham. He looks forlorn at that, Fernandes, and then realises De Ligt
just
is
seeing the replay.
it.
Xerxes' pass, he took it in his path, and the touch sort of teased Vicario a little bit. He wasn't sure whether to come. He retreated, and he made the save at the near post. Porro just put Garnacho off enough, so when he struck the shot, it wasn't convincing really, and it lacked a little bit of power.
10 minutes gone in the second half here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs lead Manchester United by 1-0, and would leapfrog them in the table if they could hold on to this result. Ange Postecoglou unbeaten in his first 3 games against Manchester United in the league. There's Garnacho cutting across the edge of the penalty area. Plays it across to Mazraoui, who slipped badly there, but Tell couldn't quite capitalise. He was looking to try and get it to Son, but it's gone to a Manchester United player. Here comes the cross. It's gone off the Tottenham defender. Last is it? No. It's gone back off Dalot.
Yeah.
It'll be a goal kick to Spurs.
Brilliant defended from Spence. I think with Maddison, I don't think anyone would argue that he's probably been the pick of the Spurs players this afternoon.
Yeah, he's really looked in the mood. There are certain games, Bradley, I've noticed with Maddison. He's had a couple of great games against Man City, for instance.
Yeah.
We watched him against Southampton away, producing a brilliant virtuoso.
Yeah, he won the game, didn't he?
But then there are other games where I watched him against Palace away, I think it was, and this was a bit quieter. And if he could do this every game, my goodness. But he's been held back a little bit by injuries, of course, as well. There's Mazraoui, heads forward to Fernandes. Pedro Porro. Tell, just trying to flick that ball in field. It's been picked off by Casemiro. Manchester United have it with Fernandes in the centre circle. Lovely improvisation, just to clip that ball over Son out to the right-hand side of Dalot. It's back with Fernandes again. What a cross that is, looking for Xerxes. Comes out to the edge of the box. Garnacho! Good save by Vicario. And Xerxes can't follow it in because he's offside if he touches it, and it's away and out for a throw-in.
Yeah, applause from Amorim. He's sensing, the Man United travelling fans are sensing that this probably is Manchester United's best spell across this game. There's been 3 or 4 minutes here. Spurs are trying to jump and press and get the ball back. The crowd are responding. This second half is really coming alive, Andy.
Casemiro to Xerxes. Now Mazraoui. Fernandes up the line. Dalot cuts back onto his left foot. Back to Fernandes again. Son chasing him back. In comes the cross, headed up in the air by Bergvall. And then it'll come to Garnacho. He's just overrun it under pressure from Kulusevski, and it'll be a goal kick to Spurs. And Vicario's made a few important saves.
Yeah, he certainly has. Welcome return from him. That's his strength. Brilliant cross, as you say, from Fernandes far post, but Xerxes from Garnacho's shot couldn't follow in like Maddison was able to because he was already beyond the Spurs defence.
Spence back to Davis, who sends it forward to Tell, under pressure from Maguire, can't keep the ball for Spurs, and Fernandes is on it again. Mazraoui, Casemiro, Bentancur,
there we go,
wins it back, and Son is racing upfield now. He's got Tell up the middle, player out on the right as well in Kulusevski, but he's just been caught as he was trying to play the pass.
Switch of play was on. Kulusevski had broke on that right hand side and supported. Tell was central, trying to go beyond the defenders, but the switch of play from United has allowed Dorgu now to go through.
Dorgu tried to go first time, looking for Garnacho, but as Bradley says, flag was up for an offside.
He's disappointed with that decision.
Spurs have Kinski as goalkeeping cover, and then the other options on the bench: Basuma, Udogie, Gray, Johnson, Odegaard, Sarr, Scarlett and Moore. And for Manchester United, Harrison, Lindelof, Heaven, Hamas, Kone, Fredrickson, Obi, Fletcher and Morehouse. Some new names for a lot of us, with injuries and illness biting at Manchester United. Tottenham coming forward again with Son. The captain lays it off to Maddison, clips it into the box. Tell, chests it, controls and shoots, and it's gone wide off a deflection.
Yeah, I think
corner.
on the follow through, Tell's effort struck his former teammate De Ligt on the chest, so Son will have the chance from this left-sided corner to swing this one in.
Corner will be taken by Son. Half an hour of the 90 to go. Great atmosphere inside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Son to send this corner in. He's gone short to Maddison. Maddison, bit of skill, Left-footed cross comes off Casemiro. Son onto it quickly. Right-footed shot deflected wide. Another corner to Spurs.
Well, they looked in the mood there. Short corner. Firstly, Maddison, Jinkin got the defenders inside the box. Then Son. And I think if that one would have got past the intended block, that would have nestled in the back of the net. It was De Ligt that engaged. Follow-up Spurs corner.
They looked nervous to tackle though, didn't they, because of the worries, I suppose, of the giving away the penalty primarily. Here comes the corner from Pedro Porro, flicks off a defender, and then Tottenham win it back on the edge of the box. Maddison out to Pedro Porro. Here comes a low cross. It's behind everyone except Tell. His shot though blocked by Mazraoui, and it comes out to Maddison again. Little shimmy from Maddison and plays it back to Spence. Spence on the turn. Højlund slips as Spence plays it out to the left touchline to Tell. He's going to come in field to Maddison. Plays it back to Tell. Now Son just outside the D. Out to Pedro Porro. Kulusevski on the overlap. He's got two defenders on him, but a brilliant bit of skill. Gets away from De Ligt. Then the tackle comes in, and Fernandes under real pressure, trying to sweep it forward to Højlund. Could be a break on here, but that's a great tackle from Maddison. The crowd are loving it, aren't they, Bradley?
Yeah, it's been a good performance from Spurs. They're having their moment here in the crowd. They're acknowledging that and really getting behind the home team.
Tell tackled by Casemiro on the edge of the D. The Brazilian trying to get this forward, but he's been just knocked off his feet there by
Tottenham want to make
Tell.
a double change and put some fresh impotence on.
Brennan Johnson is about to come on, and Pape Sarr as well. Well, Brennan Johnson was providing a lot of goals and assists when he was injured, so they'll be delighted to have him back. And Sarr's also weighed in quite a few times this season, but has been available.
Yeah, the Spurs goal scorer Maddison off. Great reception for him. Maybe that was part of the master plan. An hour.
Yeah, it feels
with that calf injury.
He's playing so well.
I think the pity is he just looked like he's really in the mood the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
That confidence that goal would have given him. Bergvall started the game well.
The thing is, Bradley, you know, there's been too many times this season where players have not made it through games, and he's just probably sick of, the manager's probably sick of just seeing, you know, players going down. He'd prefer to keep Maddison fresh and have him do that in the next game, you know, rather than run the risk. But it's it's obviously awkward to
great point, Andy, that you're making, importantly for the remainder of the season. Højlund scampering down United's right here.
Here he goes, keeps that ball in play and then rolls it back down the line to Dalot. Casemiro just a bit too slow to get that pass away, and now Spurs can break with Kulusevski. Forward to Brennan Johnson, the Welsh international, trying to get the cross in, comes off De Ligt. Corner to Spurs, and you can just see there Johnson, with Kulusevski just dropping a bit more to the number 10 role. Johnson picking that ball up the pace, Bradley, just worried Man United a little bit there.
Yeah, and off the back of these wing backs who are going to have to show willing to support, go forward, commit for United. That's where the area of space in this remainder of this game can be for Spurs to exploit.
1-0 Tottenham lead, 64 minutes gone, as the corner comes in from Kulusevski, flicks off a United defender, probably De Ligt, and it will be kept in by Brennan Johnson on the far touchline, trying to get away from Dalot there. He's been fouled. Free kick to Spurs, about 5 or 6 yards from the corner flag, maybe a couple more, but right on the touchline.
Increasingly Spurs are looking more and more dangerous here, aren't they?
As you said, Bradley, I know United scored 3 here in the Cup, but it's got the feeling today, with how Tottenham have played, that the second goal would ask serious questions now of United. So just
you
need
said
to try
about
and
their
get
body language and the oomph and the drive within these Manchester United players this afternoon. At 1-0, they'll keep sort of going and believe that they can still get a chance to maybe level this game up, to score 2, if not 3, to draw or win the game. I'm not sure if they've got that in them.
65 minutes gone. Ruben Amorim is actually looking down to the ground as this free kick is sent in. Kulusevski, little flick at the near post. It's gone off a defender and it's behind for another corner to Spurs, which Son will take out there on the left-hand side.
This was Dalot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he was looking for the flick, Kulusevski. Didn't really get that much on it, but the defender behind him unsighted. Dalot, it's gone out for the corner. So here it comes, in towards the near post, very low, comes back out to Kulusevski. He's going to send it across right-footed. It's away from Manchester United. Spence lofts it back out towards Kulusevski. He's battling with Fernandes. Fernandes doing really well actually there to just get that ball off Kulusevski with two Tottenham players coming to him. It's just the way he placed his body there just to win the ball as it dropped. But Tottenham are coming back at Manchester United again here. Son. Spence, good touch to get away from Casemiro. Spence back down the line, and Spurs in possession in the Manchester United half with Bentancur, every United player behind the ball, as now Sarr coming forward, cutting across the pitch, then turns and goes back out to the left hand side to Spence again. Closed down by Xerxes. Spence plays it off him and then gets the possession back a little fortunately off the shins and plays it back to Bentancur. Oh, that's a great drop of the shoulder from Bentancur, forward to Son. Son, Bentancur, really on top now, Tottenham. United struggling to get out. Can Tottenham capitalise? Spencer's going to have a go here, but it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, Onana.
Yeah, United are retreating, not really applying too much pressure. Spurs enjoying the ball, keep probing. A clear-cut chance still hasn't been produced just yet in this second half. Spurs need to keep going and just make sure, that they are able to defend as a unit here and not allow United a way back in.
On the turn, Højlund, that's in front of Xerxes, who again leaves it, even though I don't know if he got a shout, and Tottenham are breaking away.
Big chance.
Manchester United got 6 players out of this as Tottenham come forward. It's Johnson, he's got Kulusevski with him. Here is Kulusevski on that left foot, he's cutting across the penalty area, looking to tee up some Tottenham player to get a shot away. It comes to Sarr in the end, he shuffles it out to Son. Son, left-footed shot, deflects off Mazraoui, corner to Spurs.
Oh, they were really stretched. They're tiring, they're fatiguing those Manchester United players. They broke at one end, and there was big distances for Spurs with that 4 players against the 4 defenders remaining to break into, and they didn't quite take advantage of it. But it is another corner, and these are really building up for Tottenham.
We're into the final quarter of the game now. 69 minutes on the clock. There's a corner for Spurs, sent in from the left, and he's almost reproduced the trick that came in the League Cup quarter-final. He's smiling about that, Son, because anyone who was here that night will remember he curled it in for a goal from the corner.
Yeah, not too far away, nestled on the net, just above the crossbar and above the goal.
That would have been bizarre, wouldn't it, Bradley, if that had happened again? Yeah, considering
random.
You never see that. Son pressurising Mazraoui, who gets the ball away. Different keepers that night. Spence sending a ball into the box. Johnson touches it back to Kulusevski. Kulusevski trying to get it out to Pedro Porro, and then Dorgu. Has he just been caught there by Pedro?
Yeah, just
Porro?
A fraction late. He jumped forward, supported Kulusevski when the ball broke, and there was a second ball to anticipate. But Dorgu just nudged it away from him and got the first contact.
Tottenham winless in their last 7 Premier League home games. But in the lead here, Danso having to really stretch his legs to get to that ball ahead of Højlund.
Brilliant. I thought he was the wrong side there, Danso. Højlund onside, driving through, running onto that through pass.
He just got it, Danso. As Spence coming away upfield, he's becoming, I say becoming, he's already well there probably, a crowd favourite.
I just think the drive, the energy, the determination that Spence has been showing in recent weeks are really warming to his performances, Andy, aren't they, the Tottenham Hotspur fans?
they just love the positivity, don't they? That he gets the ball, he wants to make something happen. As Fernandez plays that ball out to the right-hand side. Dallow in front of the away fans. That end of the ground still just 1-0. So Manchester United certainly not out of this. As Mazraoui up the line, in comes the cross looking for Højlund, headed away by Pedro Porro. Tell battling there with Casemiro, but the ball has run to Bruno Fernandes. Pokes it out to Dallow on the right. Now back to Mazraoui, in comes the cross. Xerxes just wide.
Big chance.
What a chance for Manchester United.
They've worked a few right-footed whip crosses. That's been some of the better Manchester United moments in this second half, and he just sort of ghosted in, didn't he, Xerxes? At stretch, jumped, glancing header, didn't hit the target. Yeah, it was well wide of the goal in the end. Didn't get enough connection on it.
I think glancing header into the far corner would have probably beaten Vicario. Casemiro, here's Garnacho, good tackle from Davis. Manchester United coming forward again though. It's Højlund, right-footed shot again. Vicario solid behind that.
Bit sloppy there, Spurs. He was very wide, and so playing out from the back, turned the ball over, and they tried to thread it back into that penalty box. Firstly Garnacho, then the follow-up effort. Højlund's straight at keeper Vicario.
Brandon, I wonder if Manchester United are in the position Tottenham have been in for months, which is that Amorim actually won't look to his bench that much, or whether he will have the confidence in those young players. Because
yeah, it's an excellent point, Andy, but sometimes you never know. I often say it about these young players: opportunity, being ready. It's not always on your terms.
Yeah.
But similarly with the managers, and that actual decision, the bravery to do that and give those young players their head and their chance, and off you go. And sometimes they can really surprise you and grasp the moment.
They got a great history of that, of course. Manchester United, as Fernandes has the ball, lofts it into the box again for Xerxes, but it's just over him. Comes to Garnacho, closed down by Pedro Porro. The cross comes off Johnson, and it will be a corner to Manchester United.
Yeah, better response. They just withstood, didn't they, that energy push and drive with Sarr. Johnson on the pitch now from Spurs and under pressure, but United have responded very well here. Now they might be able to push and get themselves an equaliser from this corner.
Here it comes. It's untidy.
Yeah,
4 or 5
messy,
players
wasn't it, there
on the floor as Fernandes' corner came in. It's repelled though by Tottenham. It's coming in again though from Dorgu, and it's brought under control by Casemiro. Head to the 6-yard box. He's gone down theatrically. There's no penalty. Well, he's on a yellow card as well, but I don't think he'll get booked for that one. They've won it back there on the halfway line off Tell of Manchester United. Xerxes skipping past Bentancur. He's trying to find a teammate. Danso stretching for that against Højlund, and then Davis and Vicario get it away.
Really stretched.
Sarr.
It's a transition game now, isn't it? It's just whether, you know, either team can just find the correct pass and the composure and the connection. Johnson scampering beyond Dorgu. Can he get there?
Johnson pulls it across. It'll come to Son. Son trying to tee it up here. Tell! Oh, saved by Onana down to his right. But as you say, Bradley,
yeah, he's frustrated.
Players out on their feet, aren't they?
Yeah, the young striker. It was unselfish from Son. He moved centrally, got on the end of the cross. And perhaps Tell was just so desperate, so eager to score there. He tried to hit that one a bit too hard, and he couldn't generate the power. Let's have a look at that challenge on replay. Spence, Casemiro, no.
Yeah, well, hands were up, but there's no way.
Olympic dive,
the force
that one.
was there to have him throw himself back like that. It's Garnacho, tries to race away, well covered by Bentancur. Just for the first time, looks like he's feeling the pace a little bit. Hands on his knees, sort of stance that you'll see long distance runners at the end of a long race. Just there, just breathing in deeply with his hands on his knees. Off he goes again as the ball comes out to Dorgu on the left. That's a nice pass across the pitch to Casemiro.
Yeah. Spurs are getting Archie Gray ready.
Garnacho
possibly Adogi, maybe Mikey Moore. I think the coaching staff and manager are sensing.
Son sees the space, tries to get away, and he's got away from Dalot there. That was brilliant from the South Korean, and he's still going. Can they get support up there to him? Son, edge of the penalty area. He's got Sarr with him, but he has to go back. And Sarr will now have 10 Manchester United outfield players between him and the United goal after they all fall back in. And just for a moment it looked like Son had United stretched.
Yeah, you know, for once really Manchester United did actually recover quite well there in numbers, so attacking opportunity. He does look a little bit fatigued, Son.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
If I'm honest, he's worked hard again this afternoon. Not always come off for him in some promising positions.
Spence goes back to Davis. Now I wonder where Gray will come on. Would they put him in there instead of Bentancur in the midfield maybe?
Yeah, Bentancur looks as if he's
he
limping ever so slightly.
And you just wonder if that, you know, Gray hasn't had the chance to play in that central midfield position where he might have expected to play a lot more since arriving at Tottenham. He's played so much in defence as Sarr is caught there on the halfway line, but the referee says play can continue. It was Casemiro who caught him. Now Kulusevski, his cross cut out by Dorgu. Wow, there's players who are really hitting the wall here.
Yeah, Bissouma.
I've got a feeling Casemiro is just one more lunge away from maybe getting a second yellow because he's taken a few chances. Danso and Bentancur, I think, are going to be the two to come off. Yeah. So Bissouma will come into that midfield and Gray will go in for Danso, who I just noticed just walking a bit gingerly after that foot race with Højlund.
Yeah, I hope that's not another hamstring issue, but I think he's okay.
It was my first thought when at the end of that run, he didn't make much of it.
He looks okay.
Yeah, Bentancur, I just think is exhausted.
Fresher legs for the remainder of this game.
Well, this is
to finish this one off.
This is a real treat for Tottenham and their fans, Bradley, to have players like that coming off the bench. Pedro Porro sends in a low cross. Bissouma just on, hits it on the volley, comes off Casemiro up into the air. Johnson's there, great first touch from Brennan Johnson. Then he goes down under the attentions of Mazraoui, no foul. Fernandes trying to get United going on the counter-attack. Davis keeps the pressure on. It's come to Kulusevski. Here's Son pulling it back. Kulusevski saved by Onana and headed up in the air and away by Maguire. Kulusevski racing back to try and win it back. Xerxes.
Frantic, Andy, isn't it?
It really is. Here's Garnacho. Suddenly it's really open. Bissouma getting back into position as it comes out to Dorgu into the penalty area. Højlund strike blocked by Spence.
Man of the match, Spence.
What a corner.
Last-ditch challenge that is. Credit to United. They went like the Red Arrows, didn't they? Three-pronged attack through to Højlund in the penalty box and a cross on cover. Lunge and block. Outstanding. Jed Spence.
People have been speculating about why there's so many injuries. I mean, look at the players here, Bradley. They are out on their feet. I mean, it's incredible entertainment in terms of how stretched the game is, but you can see there are players out there who are really drawing on the well of reserves here as the corner comes in. Oh, just punched by Vicario. We had players all around him in red shirts. In it comes again, headed down by Casemiro, looking for another player in a red shirt, and it's cleared away only as far as the halfway line. Garnacho leaves it for Fernandes.
Oh, it's a great ball.
It was a brilliant ball. No one had read it, had they?
Possibly who drifted in, unmarked, was onside.
I think so. He's just so smart with those, Fernandes. He's sometimes ahead of everyone else. That was brilliantly disguised.
Just looking at the challenge that led to that break. Ben Davies, I'm not sure if he was yellow carded. He chopped Højlund down. Fair play to the striker for getting up and then continuing his run forward and supporting as Manchester United push Spurs backwards.
Forward towards Brennan Johnson. It's Dorgu who gets there. It comes off Kulusevski's arm and it's to be handball for a free kick to Manchester United.
Still don't know, Andy, what way this one is going to go.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's felt there for the taking for Tottenham for quite a lot of the game, but Manchester United are hanging in there. As Fernandes standing over the free kick. 10 minutes to go of the 90. And here it comes, low delivery, headed away by Basuma. Mazraoui is there to keep it with United. Again, another low ball, which is headed away by Basuma, and Tell is moving upfield, the 19-year-old, looking for Brennan Johnson. Little slip, but play continues with Kulusevski. Johnson still down. Kulusevski's cross, pulls it back. Maguire retreating. Fortunate, really, that it runs for him, and then the play is stopped due to Johnson being down injured, and they'll have a drop ball.
He sort of slipped, Johnson. I think he caught back of his head, didn't he, with Dorgu as he fell to the floor.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad.
A little bit whiplash, wasn't it?
Doesn't look that bad, but the referee, given it was a head.
No, he did well, the ref. He tried to pay advantage, but good to see Johnson doesn't require any treatment. The game will be restarted. Spurs are going to have a couple more of their moments where Manchester United are going to have to gamble here with just over 8 minutes remaining of normal time.
Saw Bentancur with some ice on his kneecap, Bradley, but probably just a bit of bruising maybe. Not the day to be putting ice on anywhere on your body with how cold it is out here. It must be freezing as the ball is with Dorgu, left-footed cross. It's too deep.
Oh, it's a big whisk.
It's gone behind.
Big miss. Basuma didn't win the skirmish on the halfway line. That allowed that Manchester United break. I don't think the Spurs manager was too pleased with his substitute, and Dorgu on the overlap towards the byline has curled that one out of play, much to the relief of the Spurs defenders.
Bradley Allen alongside me here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where the Spurs fans find their voice to try and roar their team over the line. Casemiro heading it forward for United though, who are still just 1-0 down. Fernandes goes down, but play continues. It's Garnacho taking on Pedro Porro. Sliding tackle. Garnacho across goal. Xerxes trying the volley. Missed it completely, and Spence now trying to get away. Looks like the only one who's still got any energy. Out to the left-hand side. Oh, a little slip there from the captain, Son. And it's all the way back to Onana, the Manchester United goalkeeper, who gives it to Harry Maguire.
He got caught, actually, Fernandes.
Yeah.
Outside the box by Kulusevski in the lead up to that half chance that eventually fell to Xerxes. The referee played advantage. They're switching again, as they've often done, to wing back.
Dalot, cross, blocked by Spence. It's going to be a corner to Manchester United. He's like a long distance runner himself, isn't he, Spence? He just such a smooth running style.
Yeah, beautiful running style.
He never looks like he's fatigued. He just keeps on going.
Corner United. Late goal, won it, FA Cup. Maguire, set play. Debatable offside, that one. Is it going to be a late corner here for United to tie this one up?
6 and a bit minutes to go. In comes the corner. De Ligt goes up for it, drops in a mass of bodies. Casemiro tries to turn it in and then cleared away by the defender just in front of goalkeeper Vicario. Pedro Porro
underfoot, Andy, aren't there?
And Brennan Johnson. It was Johnson who got the clearance in. Here goes Dorgu again. Left-footed cross headed away by Basuma. Drops on the edge of the penalty area. Tottenham on the break again. Son, Tell, only 2 defenders back for Manchester United. Kulusevski arriving on the other side, but Tell is driving towards the edge of the penalty area himself. Tried to thread that to Kulusevski, cut out by Garnacho on the retreat, and it's back to Onana, and still just 1-0 to Spurs. Tell looked like he was going to go for goal for a moment there, but in the end tried to find Kulusevski.
He's really eager to impress. I've enjoyed his enthusiasm this afternoon. Just maybe a bit of experience, quality composure on that final ball, but you can't fault the effort, that's for sure. I think Odegaard, good to see him returning, because he's had to be very patient. I'm sure he's been frustrated coming back from a hamstring injury. He's going to get some late minutes here, but the Tottenham fans are trying to get their side over the line here, Andy.
Still a couple of months away from his 20th birthday as well, Tell. All he's achieved already at Bayern Munich and with France under-21s and France junior sides. But Odegaard maybe they'll replace Son or Kulusevski. Just get Odegaard just to stretch the game, with United having to really push players forward at this point. I think it might be Son here, I'm guessing. It is Son coming off Odegaard. He's going to hand the captain's armband to Ben Davies. Or is it to Vicario? In fact, it's Vicario. So Son coming off for Odegaard as Tottenham try and get this one over the line. Get those back-to-back league defeats. Back-to-back league wins, I should say, for the first time since September, after the 2-0 win against Brentford away. And a good roar for Odegaard as well. As Bradley said, you don't ever want to arrive at a new club and have most of your first 6 months out with injury, but that's been the way of it really for Odegaard. But another one coming back in to strengthen the squad available to the manager Ange Postecoglou. On Kulusevski, winning it back high up the pitch, didn't quite run for Sarr as it's cleared away by De Ligt and headed down by Davis only as far as Xerxes. Bissouma harrying him, but Manchester United get it out to the right. Sarr's just caught Fernandes as he got the pass away. Xerxes caught in possession, and Tottenham coming forward with Odegaard. Plays it to Spence. Spence striding forward. Can he play it here for Tell? In the end, he went too direct down the line for Tottenham. It needed to be.
Oh, it needs to come across the pitch.
Yeah,
that's where the numbers were, essentially, into Spurs. He's right. It was a really good interception, but a missed chance there from Spurs. They had the overload.
Maguire could cover it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Maguire was able to shield it out. If he'd played it diagonally between the two centre halves, it suddenly would have opened up, surely. But still, just the one goal in it here, and we have only got just over 2 minutes of the 90 to go as Højlund plays it out to the right for Manchester United. Højlund into the penalty area. 2 Tottenham defenders go with him. Sarr puts it behind for a corner, but better that than someone diving in there on Højlund, where
yeah, he just managed to steady himself. Spence, when Højlund went towards the right byline, he was inside the box. Spence looks fatigued.
He does. He
was holding his right hamstring there, which is a worry, because he's put in a monumental effort. He needs to go again here, because this game's not done.
He's been brilliant. Here comes the corner. Casemiro's header held by Vicario. What a reassuring presence. He's saying, right, get up to his teammates. They're all saying,
I think
mate.
These Spurs fans have been used to under this Tottenham manager is they just expect them to go again and have another attack here, because they're still nervous and they feel maybe.
Sarr, that's brilliant. Gets away from the defender Mazraoui. Still going. Sarr tries to play Tell in. Tell, shot blocked by De Ligt, who clears it away. Still just the Maddison goal separating the teams. Davis gets it forward. Players out on their feet here. Odegaard. Maguire with a challenge. Runs for Tell into the penalty area. Sweeps it across, but plucked out of the air by Onana. And he sends it out. That's Sol Dorgu short. He's caught Pedro Porro. That'll be a free kick and a booking. And that is
good sense of anticipation from Porro. That'll tick the clock in the seconds. Manchester United want to put young striker Obi on for probably the injury minutes, because they're going to go up as well as this Man United change.
Here comes the free kick then for Spurs, but they're going to make that change before, with Casemiro coming off, throwing on the 17-year-old Chido Obi to see if he can make the difference here. Formerly in England under-16 forward.
3 minutes, that's quite rare around here, isn't it?
Well,
in the Premier League
there's hardly been any stoppage, has there? It's been one of those games today.
Yeah, he's had a flow to it, hasn't it?
Wow, has it? It's been relentless. Free kick taken short by Spurs as we go into those 3 minutes of stoppage time. Kulusevski, here's Pedro Porro again. Good cross. It's going to Tell, is it? No. Up in the air from Mazraoui. Pedro Porro brings it under control as it drops. Shot away from Davis. Big deflection. Corner to Spurs.
Yeah, importantly, Spurs can take their time. Look, Vicario's come up to the halfway line.
What's he doing?
I think he's just saying, don't throw the ball in there where United can then clear and potentially have a counter-attack in the other direction. Play it short, take your time, and the crowd will help you as well.
Well, that's the leadership the manager was talking about, Bradley, with the keeper. He's come to the halfway line to get the message across there, to be switched on. Don't go gung-ho. Keep players on the halfway line in case Man United break. Here's the ball into the box for Tottenham again. Tell trying to get away after the short corner, but Xerxes wins it back in the box. Odobert can't get it back as Xerxes makes the challenge, and now United are going to try and switch the play out to the left-hand side. Xerxes again gets away from Tell, floats it forward looking for Dorgu, but that'll go all the way through to the goalkeeper Vicario. And there's just over a minute of stoppage time to go here for Tottenham.
Yeah.
To try and do the double over Man United.
Perhaps a couple of actions for Spurs to see this through. It's been hard fought, but the 3 points will be very, very important for Tottenham Hotspur and their manager and this group of players with how their form's been in the Premier League. But they would have deserved it this afternoon.
It's 12 years since any team beat Manchester United 3 times in a season, as Tell breaking in behind. He's just had a heavy touch. And
he was
Onana's
onside. It was a brilliant header, but there go United the other way.
Looping it forward, headed away by Archie Gray. Back comes Brennan Johnson. Now Pedro Porro trying to break up the right. It comes off. Dorgu throw into Spurs. And we have got 18 seconds of the 3 allotted minutes. Chelsea, the last team to beat Manchester United 3 times in a season. Back in 2012, 2013. But Tottenham, 3-0 winners at Old Trafford in the league, 4-3 in the League Cup here, 1-0 up in the last seconds of the league game here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as the referee puts the whistle to his lips, and that is it. Tottenham win it 1-0. They win against Manchester United. James Maddison's strike in the 13th minute settles it. But goodness me, there could have been so many other goals. It was an incredibly open game. 2 teams going at it hammer and tongs, and players out on their feet come the end of the game. But Tottenham just starting to see the silver lining, maybe, with players coming back, the likes of Vicario, who made important saves in that game, then the likes of Maddison, Brennan Johnson, the list goes on. They're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. They still haven't got those centre-backs back, but goodness me, they look stronger and fitter now with the players coming back, and they've got the win, which makes it back-to-back Premier League wins for Tottenham after the win at Brentford. They've beaten Manchester United here. The last time they pulled off back-to-back wins in the league, September, against Brentford and Manchester United. It's finished here with Tottenham going above United in the table, although they won't be bragging about that. It's Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.
Wow, it never felt completely comfortable, I think it's fair to say, but Tottenham have got the job done in the end, and they climbed to 12th in the Premier League table, above the likes of Palace, Everton and Manchester United. 30 points on the board for Spurs. They're still 7 points behind 10th place Brighton, let alone behind some of the others. The Manchester United players are getting a pretty lukewarm response from their fans over there in the corner of the pitch, Bradley, but for Tottenham, they've got great backing today. No matter what people have said about this season so far, and you know, protest outside the ground against, you know, part of the club, but in terms of the players, great support for them today, and
very
they've
much
given them
so.
the win.
And just sort of echoing the points that he's tried to consistently reinforce, Big Ange, Spurs manager, is getting his best players back. Well, Maddison returning, the match winner with the only goal, the solitary goal of the afternoon, an excellent first half performance from him, some good saves for Cario, back between the sticks. That was important. Odegaard from the bench, important. Spurs were good value for that win. It was narrow in scoreline. Manchester United had a little bit of a go. They had to in the second half, some half chances themselves. They huffed and puffed, but Spurs would deserve the winners. This is an important win, a big win, and Tottenham can certainly build on this.
They go to Ipswich next, don't they, in the league? And
not
Ipswich
easy.
won here.
Yeah, they're a more athletic, a developing side that are becoming more accustomed, having returned to the Premier League this season, having been out for many, many years. Kieran McKenna, of course, a former coach here. They got bragging rights and they won here earlier on in the season. He will want to repeat that because they have a glimmer. He's given them a fighting chance still to stay up. Spurs will have to be professional, but it's certainly a game on their travels that they can go and win. If they keep a clean sheet, I think they will, and they're ever so slowly nudging themselves back up this Premier League table.
And it always had a feeling like this, Bradley, that whoever won it, you'd think, oh, well, that club looks a little bit in better shape than the other one. But today, Manchester United, they look a bit bedraggled, and Tottenham, with those players coming back, you just feel that there might be a bit more positivity now feeding back in.
Positive momentum and somewhat brighter for Manchester United. Back to the drawing board a little bit.
Absolutely. Bradley Allen, thank you very much indeed, as always, for joining me here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for commentary of Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. Tottenham moving up in the table. It's been a long time coming, but those returning players have maybe brightened things here this afternoon for the Spurs fans who've had a tough season so far, but maybe it will finish on a brighter note. Lots to come still, including live commentary on Tuesday of Millwall's game at Preston, and Brentford heading to Leicester on Friday. Well, sports show with you every evening from 6 as well. But from me, Andy Rowley, here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and from Bradley Allen, thanks very much to Andrew back in the studio, and a great night for Tottenham in the end. It's finished Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.